broadcasting, apparently. So, welcome to episode whatever of the 3G podcast and stuff. 158, maybe. Invites have been sent.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to turn down in-game volume, Rebecca.
Yeah, I did. I was doing that now. So there's a little bit of music at the beginning. So, oops.
Well, one of the things I was worried about when I went to the kitchen to get some soda is, did I mute my PC speakers? Because if not, they're going to be hearing double. But apparently I did, so hooray for me for not fucking this up for once.
Ari's pet is really creepy.
Okay, so this should be 3G Chat and Play 158. We are finally debuting some Borderlands, which has been the long-awaited podcast game for this year, I guess. Jared should be fucking happy. Jared. I don't hear happy. Unfortunately, this game actually plays pretty well in multiplayer. Like, you can set it so enemies scale to your level, and you get your own separate loot drops, and there's really no downside to playing with somebody, no matter what their level is, as long as you've got those settings.
Yeah, that's what I have mine set.
Because I was playing with Greg earlier, and yeah, it is like back in the days of 2012 with Diablo 3. Actually, I don't think they had these settings at the start of that, but at least since the PlayStation 4 ports, right, with the Reaper of Souls, it had this stuff, so it's not new, but it's still appreciated anyway, so everybody should be making pretty good progress, even playing with a noob like Rebecca. Oh. Is Jared not in your game?
I'm fine.
Not yet.
Okay. I'll wait a bit before jumping on. I figured cutting myself out of the playing would be the easiest way to do things, and I don't have to burden anybody else with streaming. I can just make Rebecca do it, which is relatively not that difficult.
It is a burden to me.
Oh yeah, so everyone, you're going to be watching Rebecca play instead of my brand of incompetence. You're going to be watching her brand of incompetence. Hooray!
Which means getting stuck on stuff and not being able to jump. Because that's the
Yeah,
biggest problem.
that happens to me too, so don't feel too bad. You don't have an excuse. You were good at Gears of War, so you don't get to suck at this now.
Doesn't mean I'm good at Borderlands. They're not the same fucking thing.
No, they're the same thing. I should have curated the news section from this podcast, because we've got a lot of stories that got updates shortly after less interesting, more vague news broke about them. We had Tokyo Game Show this week, and it feels like it's been going on for quite a while now, but I suppose it all just happened over the last couple of days, didn't it? So we got some good and some bad from TGS. And, God, do we want to start out with the good, with the bad, or just with a whole host of the meh crap in the middle?
I don't know.
Well, let's start out with the bad, the soul-crushingly terrible, awful, unmitigated disaster, Death Stranding.
I was gonna say, so you're starting with Death Stranding.
Son of a bitch.
No, the worst news coming out of this week, in my opinion, is the Infinity Engine games for console have been delayed to October 15th. So they were originally going to come out September 23rd, 24th, something like that, and now they are pushed back. I saw them pushed back like to October 1st was a placeholder date at various sites, but Skybound Games went on Twitter and announced that they're being delayed until October 15th. They didn't give any reasons for the delay, so speculate all you want. Hopefully it's something like quality assurance are going to make the games better. I looked at one screenshot of them where they had at the bottom of the screen, like, press X to pause and press Y for actions, and I was looking at it sideways. Like, you know the icon bar at the bottom of the screen in Baldur's Gate, right, Rebecca?
Yeah.
Imagine having to press Y and then, like, scroll over to the talk command or attack command or thieving command for every time you wanted to do that. I don't know. I looked at that and I was a little leery, but who knows? Who knows how it actually plays? But my knee-jerk response was, oh, really starting to think about transitioning the good old mouse click for a controller, and I hope this is not another fucking Titan Quest. Titan Quest was a whole nother issue. Like, it wasn't just bad controls, it was just incompetence, but still a little leery about those games. We'll see what happens. The delay, I mean, I've said this before and I'll certainly say it again. Better a good game late than a bad game early. And to some extent, you can't get back that first impression. Like, once you've laid that fucking turd and it's out there for everyone to smell, you can't get a second impression. I mean, it's very, very hard. Well, I think No Man's Sky garnered some goodwill over the course of time since their launch, but some other games have managed to turn it around a little bit. Like Diablo 3 has recovered significantly from their early PC launch woes, and I don't think it was so much that they gained goodwill from the fans that originally played. It's just they reached a whole nother market with consoles, and from my perspective, the console release of Diablo 3 was way better than the PC release, and that kind of made console gamers be like, oh, this is actually not a bucket of shit. PC gamers like, what the fuck do you mean it's not? Yeah, we never had to deal with the real money auction house. So, sad news. Everyone should put on a mourning dress and cry themselves tears of inconsolable grief at this mild inconvenience, this 3-week delay here. But functionally for me, it doesn't really change anything. I'm working on updating my Baldur's Gate guides for gamer guides, and I had until the Outer Worlds comes out to finish that, and this doesn't conflict with that in any way whatsoever, so yeah, okay, whatever. Rebecca, are you heartbroken by this news?
It gets more time between Borderlands and what is it? Oh, I'm shooting your pets.
I will say about Borderlands 3, having played it a bit by now, so far I think it's better in Borderlands 2. At the very least, the loot drops seem to be more generous, even though you still end up pulling most of your loot from fucking vending machines. Or at least I do. I have gotten 4 legendaries by level 20, and that did not happen in Borderlands 2.
Oh, no, it didn't.
So, and you can, by default, just repeat boss fights over and over again, and they actually seem to drop better loot. Now, you guys have no idea how many fucking bunker runs and warrior runs. I think the boss at the end of the second game was the warrior, right? Wasn't it the warrior?
Yeah.
They just okay.
Yeah.
And I think out of all those fucking runs on the bunker and the warrior I did, I got 2 legendaries. Like, I'm talking the entire history of my time playing that game. So, this one seems to be much less stingy. The numbers on your guns seem to be a lot lower. Like, my SMGs are still doing at most 20 damage a shot at level 20. Like, there's a rule of thumb with Borderlands 2 where roughly every 4 levels you would expect your gun damage to have to increase by 50% to double to be able to keep up with what the enemies were doing. And I just think that was really bad design, because pretty much your entire loadout was obsolete within maybe not 4 levels, but definitely within 6 or 8. Just your shit was all utterly useless every so many levels. So,
speaking of legendary, I just got a legendary drop.
see? There we go.
From a tank.
A legendary class mod of all things.
No.
You're welcome for telling that weak tank for you.
And that's another really good thing they did there, having instance loot and enemies that scale individually to the player, so you're never wasting your fucking time if you have those settings. You can play with anybody, no matter how low their level, where they are in the story. Greg's still getting good experience and good loot for his character, so...
Yeah, and I just hit level 13 playing with Rebecca at level 2
See?
or whatever.
So, like, I mean, you level up a lot faster playing multiplayer, too. Like, I played a good while on my own the first day, and then I didn't play again until Greg asked me, begged me, solicited me, pleaded.
Maybe a little.
Played the crippled card and pulled on my poor atheist heartstrings until I felt pity. And I went up from like level 12 to 17 within whatever span of time we played. I mean, it wasn't that short of a play session, but I mean, it was only like 3-4 hours, so... Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Alright. Before I rag on certain games shown off at TGS, let's get to some filler news. The ESRB rated Sayonara Wild Hearts for Macintosh, Windows PC, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch. So if you're into those rhythm-type games, there you go. That's coming out. Actually, this game isn't related to TGS, but it's one of those sneaky launches. There are two games that came out this week that kind of just snuck up on me. One was, I think it's Blasphemy. And that one didn't really come out of the blue because I remember looking at its Kickstarter back in the day and deciding that I'm not going to back it because I don't know enough about it. And the aesthetic of it is based on the Spanish Inquisition, I believe, and it's a 2D Metroidvania with some fairly significant Souls influence. Seems like the type of game Greg would like.
They're making those left and right nowadays.
I mean, you should be happy, right? It's like me with the isometric AA RPG. I'm a little more picky about those games. I like my my 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania type deals to be more RPG, and some of them want to trend more towards action platformer, and that's not so much what I'm keen on. And this one seems to be more on the action platformer side of things. I want to be able to grind and collect fucking items and level up and all that fun shit. That's the part I want to be able to do.
Want to be overpowered?
I mean, I wouldn't mind the option. Give me a reason to kill all these enemies over and over again, you know, if you're going to force me to do it.
I guess there's always Toho.
Yes, there is. And Bloodstained, I think that fits quite neatly into the type of game I'm talking about. So, Time Spinner was definitely on that spectrum too. So, there's been a few, but, you know, I don't just see any I didn't even say Salt and Sanctuary. Like, you could make significant gains just by running around and picking on enemies. So there's nothing wrong with that. Wanted to be able to get a little stronger. The other game that came out, all sneaky like, and this one did actually sneak up on me a bit, was Greedfall. And it was developed by Spiders Games. You know them from, I think they made Technomancer and Bound by Flame. And this one kind of creeped up into my awareness because Jared was going on and on about it for about the last 2 weeks. And I bought Bound by Flame a few years ago because this was back when the PlayStation 4 hadn't been out all that long, and you like had Dragon Age Inquisition and not all that much else in terms of RPGs on the system. So I bought it for like $7, and I think I overspent by about $6.59. It just was such a fucking mediocre, boring ass game that even I couldn't get into it. And so when I saw that Spiders Games was behind this, I was like, it's got a high probability of being a 6 out of 10 mediocre jank fest. But apparently the combat is actually pretty good. There's character creation. The art and world design is styled like the colonial period. I'd say the 1600s. It doesn't take place on Earth, but, you know, you've got those tricorn hats and button-up smart-ass suits and shit like that. So, an aesthetic you don't tend to see much outside of specific Assassin's Creed games. And I think Claire is playing it for Gamer Guides right now, and she says it's between a 7 and 8 out of 10, and it looks like a pretty solid game. I watched some gameplay of it earlier, and maybe Spiders Games has turned the corner and figured out how to do a thing. And they're clearly basing this game, like, they are trying to fill the niche, the hole left by BioWare with their Dragon Age games. That's the model for this they're shooting for, and if that seems ambitious, probably so, but just by looking at it, I think they might have not quite pulled it off, because we're talking about, you know, when you think of Dragon Age and Mass Effect, you hopefully think of the grand narratives those games used to have. But I go so far as to say they made a reasonably respectable attempt with this. So, might be worth checking out. I think we're all too busy to be spending money on it. I don't know if Jared bought it or not, but he was talking like he might. And I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye open for it on Black Friday. So, if I get that game and actually get around to playing it sometime this year, hopefully I'll be able to update that and actually let people have a more informed opinion of what I think about it, but it looks pretty good. It was kind of a surprising, oh hey, they didn't fuck this up. Damning with faint praise, but still. Oh, Jesus Christ, why is this fucking on the news? And of course, because we have a new RPG coming out, like Greedfall, we have idiots on idiot people sites writing idiot people articles about it, because that's just what gaming has to be these days. We have an article from Kotaku titled 10 hours in, Greedfall's detailed role-playing can't make up for its unpleasant setting. And if I can be so entitled to try to paraphrase, to cut to the chase of what the author of this article seems to be whinging about, they don't like that your character can't be better than the world they exist in. Like, the parallels between the colonializing European power getting into conflict with natives from the New World, that kind of gameplay element seems to be present in the game. And because your character isn't a moral paragon with attitudes and opinions from the 21st century coffee shops of San Francisco,
yeah,
this player doesn't like the game. So
did they at least talk about the gameplay?
Yes. They do. You can fight with sabers or heavy weapons like larger swords and hammers. You can use guns or specialize in magic. Fighting usually plays out like other action RPGs such as The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. You dodge, you attack, you maybe use a spell to trap an enemy in stasis. If the fight's moving too fast for you, you're able to pause the game and select your next action in an impromptu, turn-based manner that makes it easier to plan your next move or micromanage teammates. So, it's a good compromise that smooths over some of the jankiness found in Greedfall's slightly stiff combat animations. From watching the gameplay, I can say that there is nothing wrong with any of that whatsoever. Like, that seems spot on. But then, skip a paragraph ahead, and there's no polite way of saying it. Greedfall is kind of fucked up. Wrapping yourself in the pageantry of the 18th century means recreating the iconography of colonial expansion and native slaughter. It means emulating a time when supposedly great men failed to do what was morally right, opting instead to do what was politically expedient. To merely call this a tension of Greedfall does it a disservice. It's not a momentary tension, it's the entire game. Yes, that was the 18th century, and I know this is going to be hard for some people to wrap their minds around, but maybe morality isn't objective, and the zeitgeist of the 18th century is not the zeitgeist of a Kotaku journalist in 21st century America.
I'm sure if they were in those positions, they would have just done it so much better.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't have slathered their face with fucking lead-based makeup and shit. No, they would have been like, this is wrong. I'm going to stand up and be above my culture and upbringing. I mean, and there were some people that did that, right? We have moral reformers, but it tends to be incrementalism, because anything more than that just usually isn't sustained or recognized. And I'm actually one of those people that looks at certain issues like slavery and, I mean, obviously, if you can't look at slavery and things like genocide and go, no, that's probably not good, you're not ahead of any moral zeitgeist to say that. There were people that were right on those issues even in the 18th century, but it was a different world with a different culture, a different zeitgeist, and people had different upbringings and different outlooks on things, so you can't really expect not just everyone, but any specific person to be so far above the norm for their time. And like one of the points of putting yourself in those scenarios, maybe role-playing those kind of campaigns, is that you have to deal with those kind of issues and interact with them not in the lens of a 21st century person looking down their nose with the benefit of hindsight, but as somebody actually in those events, constrained by the realities, the political and economic realities of the world at the time, and the technological realities of the world at the time, for that matter. It's kind of one of those aspects of role-playing. Like, if you can't take yourself out of reality so you can immerse yourself in a world, you're not really capable of engaging with a role-playing game the way it's meant to be played, if that makes any sense. At least that's an argument I would make. But what do I know? I'm just a privileged white guy that talks about video games.
Yeah, at least you know.
Rebecca, you're not a privileged white guy who talks about video games. You're a privileged whitest woman ever who talks about video games. What do you think of this situation? Enlightened response there. She's got a degree in psychology, people. She helps people with their mental health. This is a sort of enlightened response to social issues that you will get.
No, I think
that's what a $30,000 college degree will get you.
Or you can just talk over me like a man.
Go on.
No, go ahead, man. Male.
Male. Okay, Viconia, come on now. Get out your ideas.
I was saying I think it is important to consider the context in which political and cultural things occur. And just because you are playing a character doesn't mean that character wouldn't be within a specific setting. So you have to go, okay, this is the setting for this character. It's a game. This is happening to pixels. Chill the fuck out.
Now there's another counter. Actually,
like seriously.
There are two kind of counter arguments I will make, just to kind of torpedo our own positions and to, I guess, provide food for thought. Ideally, you'd want to provide the player with as many options for dealing with the scenario as possible. Realistically, though, I mean, there is a finite amount of development time, so you can't cater to everybody, and if somebody is offended at the world that the developer has built and they just want to overturn the table, maybe there is no satisfactory way from a gameplay perspective to proceed with that sort of ambition. Like, oh, the fucking Nords in Skyrim are racist and I don't fucking like it, so I'm just gonna kill every Nord in the game because they're assholes. Okay, I mean, you can try that, but you're probably not going to make it all that far in the story of Skyrim. At least not without significant deviations and weirdness going on. At some point, you just have to accept that your character is part of that world, and maybe you just don't get to be a racial crusader. Sometimes you do, like, what's it, in Winterfell, or is that the name of the place? You can kind of side with the Dark Elves there a little bit, but not too whatever. And also, there is a case for that sort of character in fantasy. I'd like to just coin the Dritz Duerden character model, where you do have a character that kind of wholesale rejects the culture that they are in, but you'd almost have to design a game around that instead of having it just be an option a character can pursue. So
now, if it was The Witcher and CD Projekt was making the game, they would make it so you have those options. They make you have all kinds of options. Doesn't necessarily mean it would result in anything good.
But you don't really have the like, you can't, even in The Witcher. Actually, that's a good example, because in The Witcher, like,
you can stay neutral. But it's not gonna be good.
You can stay neutral, but you can't in The Witcher 3 go, you know, the people in Novgorod are just, they're jackasses. First they're picking on anyone they consider to be a mage, and now they're picking on non-humans, and I'm just gonna go and fuck this city up and kill all the guards. No, you don't get to do that. And The Witcher 3 gives you a lot of leeway for the things you can do, and Geralt is kind of a moral anomaly for the world he's in. He seems more enlightened than a lot of other people, but I think the game lore and story kind of paves the way for that. I mean, when you're an old outsider who's seen the worst of people, you kind of start emphasizing with the outside elements themselves, but you don't get the option to write every racial injustice in the game. You get a few, but there's a lot of shit that, you know, is just racism as background dressing. It is what it is.
How the hell are you supposed to hijack these fucking vehicles?
You gotta run up to one when it's stopped and press square.
Yeah, what are you saying?
They're really fast. Okay.
Yeah, but they're also dumb and like to stop and shoot at you, so.
Oh, you can't go back that way.
The game we all didn't know we wanted, but we're getting anyways. KFC, yes, the fucking chicken fuckers, are publishing a Colonel Sanders dating sim. Colonel Sanders is now a husbando. This is from a DualShockers article. According to the game's Steam page, here's a description of I love you, Colonel Sanders. I love you, Colonel Sanders. A finger-licking good dating simulator follows you, a promising culinary student. Okay, stop right here. I know this is an aside, but no culinary student is having anything to fucking do with KFC. Alright? There's cooking, and then there's what happens at a KFC. And it is not cooking.
Oh my goodness.
Their chicken recipe for their spices, it's got secret spices.
Yeah, it all comes in a fucking bag, and no one knows what the fuck they... I've worked at enough fast food places. Fair disclosure, KFC isn't one of them, but I have cooked fried chicken and mashed taters at places before. This shit is so idiot-proof, you can't call it cooking. Like what I did earlier today, because Greg did a certain naughty thing that I'm not supposed to call him out on, made me want to eat something, and also some woman ate something, and we are all tied together in that sort of culinary brand. So I made myself some, shall we say, culturally appropriated foods, and cooking some meat and getting some beans out of a can and mixing it all together and spicing it out of a bag is far more technically demanding than what you will do at a KFC. You are not a chef if you work at a KFC. Just like you're not a chef if you work at Subway. I know I had the role of a sandwich artist twice in my life, but I can guarantee you I am no more skilled at making a sandwich than anyone else. Actually, that's not true. I am quite an expert at it, but unfortunately you have to pay me about $7.25 an hour if you want me to use that expertise. Anyways, as you try to date your classmate, Colonel Sanders. Oh god. Throughout the journey, you will be faced with... Yes. You'll be faced with life-changing decisions that will affect your chances of friendship and love. But be careful. Your choices have real consequences with real animated characters' feelings at stake. Apparently that's the Steam description.
Is this any worse than the pigeon dating game?
Or Daddy.
No.
Daddy
Absolutely not.
Simulator.
We need more of this.
I would rather have every possible fast food branded fucking bullshit dating sim game, like fucking Ronald McDonald. I would rather have that than another fucking Call of Duty. Any day. Any fucking day. I'm far more interested in that.
Is it just me, or are these vehicles like way more floaty and bouncy?
They control a bit different, but they always kind of sucked on Borderlands. I think floaty and bouncy has always been a good way to describe them.
Oh,
And you know, despite making Rebecca host, I think I will jump on, because I don't think Jared is going to start playing anytime soon.
This is Jared's game, though.
I know. Okay, let's keep going through some news. Star Ocean First Departure R will launch worldwide on December 5th, 2019. They have 2 Star Ocean games, I think, on sale on PS4 right now, but surprisingly, Jared told me not to waste my time with them.
Until the end of time.
Have you played both of them, Greg?
Yep.
Are they any? Are they any better than a? Are they any better than a 7 out of 10?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. I mean, they're $10 each right now, so if you're just somehow starved for a JRPG, it might not be. Well, you played them, Greg. Bad to play them or not?
I mean,
for $10.
If you're starved, go for it. First Departure is a remake of the first game, of course. So it's probably got 2D battles, 2D sprites. Better story than what these quote-unquote newer games.
Well, I mean, I don't want to paint with too broad strokes the entire JRPG market, but they seem to have gotten, maybe it's just me, but they seem to have gotten significantly worse just as a genre over the course of...
Going forwards.
Well, since, really 2003. I mean, they got stuck in this cliche anime hellhole where they're just kind of all recycling the same tepid plots and characters. And
Star Ocean peaked at Star Ocean 2.
Oh wow, that long ago, huh?
Yeah.
Star Ocean First Departure R will include both Japanese and English voice acting. Square Enix noted the PSP's voice acting will be available, as well as a new recording with the Japanese cast from the Super Famicom version. There's that many voices in the Super Famicom version? Okay. It will also have a speed mode, be rebalanced, and have new character art. I mean, it does look nice, if you like that sort of era of game.
Sounds like more of the same. I mean, I'll probably get it just for trophies.
Oh. You'll probably get it just for trophies.
Probably.
Oh, Greg. Will you ever have enough trophies?
There's never enough.
That's true. Oops. We also got the announcement of a fairy tale RPG for people familiar with that anime. It's kind of your typical shonen anime with more of a focus on fan service than a lot of them. Everybody, like all the main characters, are wizards that belong to a specific guild called the Fairy Tale Guild, and they all have fairly cliche anime powers, and there's a lot of fucking ass-pull bullshit, and the main character is always the one in the end who's going to have to win the battle at the end. And I tried watching it back in the day, and it was like the first anime series that I watched more than 20 episodes of that I just had to fucking stop after a story arc infuriated me to the point where I couldn't continue watching it anymore. So, I have a love-hate relationship with the anime itself, but I don't mind the characters, and this seems to be a turn-based RPG with a lot of the iconic characters in it. I think there's 5 characters, 4 of which actually anyone cares about. And they mention elements similar to the Atelier series.
Which is weird.
Yeah, so...
I think the new game's coming out.
That Atelier Ryza?
Yeah, it's being nicknamed, Atelier Thick.
Yeah, hey Rebecca, you're gonna have to send me an invite.
What, it's not letting me join the other one?
No, I can't join on my own. At least I don't know how. Yeah, I watched some gameplay, and the developers seem to be really fond of having the main character walk around while they zoom the camera low. I'm pretty sure she has ass jiggle. I'm not sure that's been a thing.
Thick?
Well, no, it's mostly just the character design itself, but... like... boob jiggle's pretty standard in video games now, in a certain subsection of them anyways, but I've never seen a video game like... I mean, maybe the Dead or Alive games do it, but just having a character, when she's running around, have her ass jiggling all over the place, that seems a bit much. And I'm not opposed to fan service in games, it's just a little on the nose, I guess. I mean, you know, maybe that's their target audience. She can be well, I mean, okay. How many characters just have people have their just asses jiggling as they walk? Like, there's a very limited subset of clothes that would allow that to happen. I don't know.
Usually in the form of yoga pants.
She is not wearing yoga pants. Greg,
No.
you care to describe her outfit?
I didn't see the video, so I don't know what she's wearing.
I'll show you some Ryza later, I guess. Oh.
I mean, all those Adler characters are usually wearing whatever lacy, thin-looking shit. I don't know. I'm probably not a good person to describe clothing.
I mean, at least this character doesn't look like a 4-year-old.
So...
Wow.
Borderlands.
I mean, well, you know.
I'm sure some people were just buying it just because of her new design.
It's a different character, right? I don't know what these games are like.
Or her design.
Okay, well, I'm just making sure, because for all I fucking know, it's the same character or some shit. I mean, look, I'm totally fine with that. If you want to cater to a thirsty-ass fucking male audience, by all means. Make that ass jiggle, you know, but... it is a bit on the nose. Oh, Rebecca, if you're like me and you kind of resent the new control system where they want you to just cycle through all your guns with triangle, you can switch to classic mode in the options, and that will make the D-pad cycle your weapons.
I always
like in
use
Borderlands
triangle
2.
anyway, because I can never remember which one's...
Oh, see, I've streamlined my character a bit, so it's not quite as bad as it was. Like, I have a skill now that makes all my weapons deal 40% of my special attacks elemental damage, and my elemental damage I have set is lightning, so all my attacks do lightning damage, so I can just blitz through shields with anything. Which is nice, but now I have a fire gun and an acid gun that I can switch between, depending on what something is weak to, in addition to dealing the electrical damage, so...
I don't think I like this character's abilities too much.
But you can create a shield.
That's the one thing I didn't. And I still looked it out.
I kind of figured you'd end up playing Flak, but I don't know.
I thought about that, but then I was like, I don't know, people might be playing Flak. I knew I didn't want to play the chick who uses the mech. I knew that.
Oh, Greg likes that one.
Am I fucking Greg?
Mose?
Yeah, I kind of like her.
Aren't you Greg?
Hmm?
Huh?
No, I'm not Greg.
Oh. Well, that's a surprise.
What? You're dumb. I hate you.
But, I mean, Flak does seem to be the most common character I see. I have a person on my friends list. You remember the MF Pretty from Diablo 3?
Oh, yeah.
He's already level 50.
Mina Tor, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, he's playing this too, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that all the people we met on Diablo would be playing this.
Well, he's usually playing the same game as us, actually.
Yeah, as long as it's some multiplayer RPG loot thingy.
Yeah.
There are too many summon monsters, and I can't tell what's an enemy and what's not. Okay.
Yeah,
this
I was
badass
struggling
tank.
with that,
There we
too.
go. This is how I'll contribute.
Die.
Dragon Ball Z Kakarot launches January 16th. Pretty much worldwide it's coming out all around the same time. So in case you forgot, this is the RPG based on the exploits of Goku, and when they realized that Goku is unconscious or missing or dead for half the series, they decided they have to throw in more characters too. So
I like that.
I have for a long time wanted a proper Dragon Ball RPG. Xenoverse 1 and 2 are decent. I'm not sure how much I'd actually classify them as RPGs, but there are some elements, I suppose. So I am interested in this, even as much as I don't think the story of Goku needs to be retold again. But I've watched a couple of gameplay trailers, and I have no fucking clue how this game plays. Like, I see the characters fighting, but I can't figure out what the goals are? Like, what they are doing to facilitate the moves, and why they are doing one move at any given time instead of any other possible move. I don't think it's just me. Watch the video, and if you can parse like how this is happening, by all means let me know, but it's kind of a mystery to me, I have to be honest. But you won't be surprised, Rebecca, to know that that's one of the games that Andrew is dead set on getting. Final Fantasy VII? He's got reservations about that, but Dragon Ball Z Kakarot? He can do that.
Yeah.
I just don't fucking understand that dude.
Well, you know, they might have made Tifa's boobs small.
Tifa's boobs are fine.
No,
Fuck it. Let's just transition into it. I know. So we got more gameplay of Final Fantasy VII remake, I should say. And I mean, I don't want to mince words, so I won't. It looks fucking fantastic. If you've been on the fence about Final Fantasy VII Remake, you can get off that fucking fence and just fucking pre-order it, because I can't see... I mean, I'll levy one complaint. They showed off a new classic mode, so all the die-hard bitchers and moaners that don't want anything in gaming to ever change, because God forbid you have to press a fucking button more than once a second. Now, you, I guess, don't really have to. The game will mostly play itself. As far as I understand, throughout the majority of combat, you're performing light attacks, repositioning yourself, dodging, and when your ATB bar fills, then you can do a more powerful attack. And they seem to have packaged a lot of abilities, or a lot of limit breaks, into what are now called abilities, is what it looked like on the stream. At least it looked like they were doing Cloud's Braver attack on command with an ATB gauge. And these attacks that you do with your ATB gauge and spells you cast and whatnot, they do significantly more damage than your normal light attacks. But your normal light attacks charge your ATB gauge. That's what it looked like from playing it and from what people have said on various articles. And if you're playing in classic mode, the game just handles all the nitpicky blocking, dodging, moving, normal attacks on their own, and you just input the big commands, the ATB stuff. And my criticism of that is, while this is a nice concession to some gamers, classic mode does look kind of fucking boring to play. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of cinematic fluff going around. While, I mean, because they were showing, they wanted to make it clear what was going on. They were showing the controller on a small screen, and then they were showing the gameplay on a much larger screen. So you could see when they were pressing stuff and when they weren't. And to be fair, the combat looked really, really, like, easy too, because they weren't using their ATB bar half the time when it was full. At least it didn't look that way to me. Maybe they had some strategy I wasn't aware of. And if you're not taking control and spending your ATB segments and all that fun shit, it does look like you're watching a really pretty combat movie a lot of the time. I guess the redeeming quality in this one is, unlike Final Fantasy 15, that's not all you do. So, but they showed off a whole shit ton of stuff. One of the trailers was just a whole bunch of short snippets of all the shit in the first episode. I mean, not all the shit, but a whole bunch of shit. And it was the first time that I can remember that I went through, like, frame by frame almost, just to see all the stuff that was there. Because otherwise, it was just all coming at you. And, you know, I like missed Ifrit the first time in the trailer because it came by so fast. But they showed off what appears to be a new soldier antagonist that you fight. At least he's chasing you around with a sword and a motorcycle, so there's that. Sephiroth playing mind games, Shiva and Ifrit being summoned. The best part of the first trailer was that iconic minigame you play when you're trying to do cross-dressing for Cloud, and you have to get a wig as one of the components, and you have to do squats in that gym where, you know, it's highly alluded that everyone there is a cross-dresser, or some other ways. Is
that all they are?
Well, I'm not going to make assumptions, but they could be quite a bit more than that.
You coward.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna be fair and honest. I don't know. I don't know what the big beautiful bro actually was doing. So, but you do a squats minigame with Cloud, and your performance gets you a better or worse wig, which, of course, makes the old Italian rapist you're trying to appease maybe have a hots for Man Cloud. totally normal and awesome stuff, and they were showing off that squats minigame, which just made me so happy beyond belief. And they also have, like, Tifa in the same gym doing a pull-up minigame, so... not sure what's going on with that, but... okay. I desperately hope that cross-dressing is still in the game. I mean, can we all agree that cross-dressing is integral to the plot of Final Fantasy VII?
I'll cancel my video if that's not in there. I want to see High-Res Cloud as this supposedly so sexy character.
Oh my god, no. If they do it, it is going to be so... it is going to be the most uncomfortable or most hilarious thing ever, and I'm not sure which. Maybe both.
It was already uncomfortable in the game originally, but it's also
it was.
hilarious.
There's a lot of uncomfortable shit going on there. No, they have to go all the way with it, because remember you could let, like, Corneo almost kiss you, and then the ladies would barge in, and they'd be like, what were you doing? Like, you weren't gonna let him. Cloud's like, of course not! That has to be there. That has to be there.
I really hope so.
You have to get caught, like, an inch away from kissing Corneo. This is the whole purpose that game exists.
See that. But in better graphics.
But no, the graphics, like the graphical improvement, that trailer was a perfect argument for why remakes are just a good, useful, necessary, and wonderful thing. Because if you remember the original game, I'm sure everyone here, except for Rebecca, has played Final Fantasy VII by now, right? Okay. When Aeris picked out her dress for that slum sequence on a whim, and she just... I'd say reviving ally. Oh. I can resurrect pets?
Yep.
Evidently.
Oh. Well, someone's pet owes me a favor.
That was my monkey.
You're lucky, monkey. But, Aeris puts on this red dress, and everyone's like, oh, wow, you know? Well, everyone. The two people, the shop owner and his daughter, and I guess Cloud, are stunned by how hot she looks all of a sudden, getting out of these slum clothes into this red dress. The problem is, this game was released in 1997 on the PlayStation 1, so her character model is like 4 cubes. So it kind of has difficulty conveying the hotness to you, if that makes any sense. But they showed her off in this dress in the remake, and it has more of the desired effect.
Yeah,
like,
she's all boo.
Yeah. So, I mean, they did a really good job. That's not like Aeris is a fucking, you know, dusty old miser normally, but, you know, she cleans up for that segment. And that's just the effect that it was intended to have, and now it can actually have that. So that's, I think, an argument for why remakes aren't just gratuitous. I mean, they're gratuitous, but they can also help the narrative in ways. And yeah, now you get, who's dropping all these guns?
I did.
Why? You know you can sell them, right?
My inventory is full, and I wanted to pick up other stuff.
Well, why don't... okay.
If you want them, pick them up. I have no fucking inventory space. I'm a new goddamn character.
Well, why don't you sell them here?
Slots. What, is there...
Yeah, I will sell them if you don't want to.
They're vending machines you can sell them at.
I thought we were in the, like, about to join into a big fucking fight. No,
yeah, I mean, we've got ways of fighting to go, but...
I didn't think we were anywhere near a vending machine.
There's a lot of minions to fight up ahead, and there's more gun boxes, so you're good.
Okay. I thought we were about to enter like a big thing, though.
But I mean, if you're at all a fan of Final Fantasy VII, I just don't see how you can be on the fence anymore. I see people bitching and moaning still about, I'm not paying full price for 1/5 of the game's content. all the new shit they're adding, all the fucking new characters, all look, you don't even, no one's played the game, so you don't know how much content is in there. One, and two, all the new shit they've shown off highly suggests that what is now Midgar is not going to correlate to what was originally Midgar. I mean, that should be obvious, but we live in the world we live in, the dumbest of all fucking timelines, so...
I don't know. You can make an argument for that. I don't want to pay full price for a third of the content or whatever. Because look, they're selling a collector's edition.
Yeah.
A deluxe edition.
And they're probably gonna
second collector's edition. And
oh yeah, no, there's gonna be a third, and then there's gonna be a full collection. Yeah.
They may milk the shit out of this thing, and who wants to support Square Enix doing that?
I mean, considering something like Fire Emblem Fates, this is so low tier. What it usually comes down for, at least from my perspective, and I guess if other people have a different perspective, whatever. As long as it's consistent, which I can't fucking test for everyone. But for me, if I get about an hour of game per dollar I spent on the game, that's a pretty good deal. I'm not going to whinge about the content I got for that. Do I think this first episode of Final Fantasy VII will be a 60-hour game? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. Do I think it will be like a Telltale game where I will spend the money and then after a few fucking hours I will be looking at a screen enticing me to buy the second episode? No, I don't. So I think you can justify paying full price for this because I think you're getting a full game's content out of it. Now, if you want to be an utter miser and compare it to something like The Witcher 3, no, I don't think you're getting blood and wine value out of this series. But nobody gives you blood and wine value. Except for CD Projekt, so...
Oh, nobody backs baby into a corner.
What?
What?
So, I mean, I guess instead of playing devil's advocate, what's your actual stance on that, Greg? As somebody who I know has bought the deluxe edition already.
I have not.
You haven't?
No.
I don't believe you. Are you sure?
I kind of want to wait and see how much of the game they're willing to give me for how much of my money.
Oh, jeez. I'm pretty sure you're getting all of Midgar.
I think that's fair for, especially for a game that's like I already know what the quote unquote full game is.
Yeah,
what
but
the
it
full
looks like
game
they added new
was.
stuff. So
Yeah, and I don't know what
new
that new
content.
stuff is. They haven't told me. They've made no effort to tell me.
They've shown it a
Oh,
little bit.
jeez. Okay.
They've expanded Midgard. What's that mean?
Okay. Well, let's segue off of that into
somebody who bought
Death
the
Stranding.
Death Stranding thing
Because for
when
somebody
they hadn't
who
seen anything,
for somebody who has faith in a developer without knowing what content they're actually getting, let's see you turn the leaf and justify
but
Death Stranding.
isn't a remake.
Tell me what Death Stranding is.
It's not a remake.
it's a walking
Okay.
simulator.
It's not a remake.
Listen, they need to be upfront about what they're doing with Final Fantasy VII. They need to say, hey, we're splitting it into 3 parts. These 3 parts will be this here to here, here to here, and here to here. I go, why is that too much to ask? Are you seriously going to sit here and say that's too much to ask?
I don't think they know yet.
Tell me they haven't planned this all out.
I
And
don't
if
think they planned it all out.
What the fuck? How have they not planned it out?
Nomura, for one.
I could sit here and fucking plan this whole thing out in like a week.
But here's the thing: we don't know what's getting, and I don't know if they know. Like, how can you storyboard?
If they don't know, that's embarrassing. And they should be ashamed of themselves.
I don't think they do. And I don't think it's
embarrassing.
I don't.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
And I don't think it's unreasonable.
What kind of self-proclaimed company can't plan out their fucking remake before they announce it?
Square
Let
Enix.
alone before they make
I mean,
it.
they've already said that they announced the remake too soon. Do you remember that story?
It's embarrassing. They should be embarrassed.
I think it's fine.
How incompetent can you be?
We all have the storyboard for Final Fantasy VII in our head. We all know the beats. They know the beats. The thing that...
Do they?
They do. They know exactly where the game goes. Yes, 1997. I'm pretty sure even Nomura, with my low opinion of him, understands the major plot elements of Final Fantasy VII. Thing is, if somebody told me to write down ahead of time how they would expand this into a 3, 4, or 5-part game, I don't know off the top of my head what parts I would expand.
Yeah, but you could manage to do it before you fucking release the game, I bet.
I would know
There's
what
a
parts...
proper order to these things, and Square Enix doesn't seem like they know what proper order is. Like, there's so much... You don't just sit down and make a game. You plan it, you storyboard it, you fucking have directors and producers that lay out how this shit is going to go.
And they're doing that for the first part of the game. Like, we need to stop looking at this. We need to stop looking at this like this is just one Final Fantasy VII game. It's not anymore. And if you played Final Fantasy VII recently,
tell their customers how many parts they're going to have.
Does it matter if it's 3 parts or 5?
They should be able to sit down and tell their customers how many parts they're going to have.
Considering the development time, like, even if they're lightning quick and it's 2 years between each part, is it really important for you to know that ahead of time? Like, to know what part of Final Fantasy VII you'll be playing in 2025?
If they want me to pre-order it, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
also,
Greg's standard.
Another thing I'd like to point out is that every game out there nowadays that's split into parts, every single one, each part is less than $15.
So this is kind of unprecedented.
Are you telling me that Square Enix
because no one's tried to make... Yes, they are the first company that has tried to take... Yes, I'm telling you exactly that. I am saying exactly that. They're the first company... They're the first company to take a RPG from 20 years ago and to say, you know what? These cel-shaded paintings, these static backgrounds from one camera angle, these 2 screens that would be used to justify an entire sector of the game, this doesn't work anymore in 2019. We cannot do this with camera angles and all that.
That's fair, but you know what else is fair? Not paying $1 until I see what they're capable of.
You've seen what they're capable of. They've released numerous videos.
I'm not paying $60 per part. I'm not paying.
But you're paying
$80 for Final Fantasy VII. That's with 3 parts.
Okay, but if it's 3 games, each one of which is 60 hours long,
then I'll see. But until they prove it, I'm not paying for it.
Okay. So that's Greg's standard. Does anyone else have that standard?
Yeah, I'm probably getting it.
Like, does anyone seriously think...
I'm probably getting it too, but they better prove to me it's worth it.
Does anyone think that they are going to play, what, 5 hours of Final Fantasy VII, get to the end of Midgar, and that'll be it until 2022 when you have to buy Part 2?
No, I think it'll be at least a few dozen hours.
I never said that. The only way that your argument makes sense is if you go ahead and go to that extreme. What if it's 10 hours? Would you pay $60?
No.
Okay, see, look, I'm being more moderate, and I don't have to resort to extremism to get my point across.
But I don't think it's going to be 10 hours.
I guess we'll see.
You're playing like 10 hours on the fucking original game.
Holy shit, Jared's here.
Oh, wow, okay.
My point...
Sneaky.
Yeah, I had to chime in with Greg's little rant.
It's an acceptable rant.
Who
in the world would pay $180 for 3 full games of Final Fantasy VII?
It's 3 times
No
the
one.
content.
Okay, so go back to, what, 2010, and if somebody told you when they make Final Fantasy 13 that they're going to make 3 Final Fantasy 13 games, you go, I ain't buying this shit. Fuck it. Until they can tell me that I'm going to get my money's worth out of each part and what is going to be in each one, I ain't paying for Final Fantasy 13 Part 1.
And you would have been smart, because no one should pay full price for Final Fantasy 13, 13.2, and 13.3.
Okay, well, let's see you maintain that standard when we go to Death Stranding. Did you watch this 50-minute so-called gameplay trailer?
You can't keep comparing it to Death Stranding.
I am going to compare it all the way to Death Stranding, till the fucking hill.
That's because you have nothing else. Your argument falls flat with nothing else supporting it. Death Stranding is not a remake. Death Stranding is not 3 parts. Death Stranding is not $180.
How much did you pay for the collector's edition of Death Stranding?
20%.
Okay. Well, let's void that, because that's over $180, but... So, how many hours is Death Stranding?
Is Final Fantasy VII going to give me Eric's body in a suitcase? Because I may pay $180. maybe she can be floating in a little lake with a katana through her corpse.
Masamune, it's not just a katana, it's a Nadachi, if anything, Greg. Jeez.
Boy, I mean, give it to me and I will buy it.
Okay, so a bland baby in a container. That's $200. Sight unseen. Barely any gameplay shown. Almost no fucking gameplay. No idea of the game's length.
Faith in the developer.
I mean, Kojima's creating a brand new genre out of...
in Kojima than I do Square Enix, just for the record. As all of you should.
I do not.
No.
Look at Final Fantasy
and I have no faith in Nomura.
They thought of a story.
Okay, I've seen 2 things. I've seen 2 trailers. I've seen a bunch of Final Fantasy VII trailers and a bunch of Death Stranding trailers. And I've seen more gameplay in the 4-minute trailer for Final Fantasy VII that came out in TGS than I've seen in an hour and a half of Death Stranding trailers.
Again,
that's just fact. That's just fact.
Again, look at Final Fantasy 15 and tell me they know how to make a story.
They do not.
You have trust in them?
Yeah, but see, they're not making a story. They're taking a story that already exists and expanding it.
I have no faith that they, won't fuck that up. I mean, they shouldn't. It would be really hard to, but, you know. Again, who are we talking about?
I'm not trusting them sight unseen, though. I know the skeleton of the story, and I've seen various story beats of it recreated.
You remember the old skeleton of this story.
I do, and I also played through Crisis Core, and I know they did that well. So I'm kind of okay with them expanding on the lore because they've done it before, and I didn't hate it. Now I hate that they fucking had to use GACT and fucking ruin a remake of it.
I'm not hesitant about this game because I think that they're just going to ruin it. I'm hesitant about the value for the money. I think. Who's going to buy a collector's edition or a deluxe edition to have to turn around and buy another?
If I get a cool ass steelbook for each one, me.
Okay,
but we didn't buy the collector's edition.
The collector's edition is utter bullshit. I'm not going to defend that. But look, you spent $200 for a baby in a fucking jar.
It's a good collector's edition. It's Cloud on a bike.
No, it's not.
It looks cool. I'm not saying the price is right.
The Cloud one looks well.
Yeah, if someone's like, "Hey, Nathan, do you want this?" What would you say?
Look, I'm fucking cheap. I would take it anyways. I would take the Death Stranding one.
It's not bad. But so what's the second part's collector's edition?
Well, they've got a lot of characters. Maybe one will have a Sephiroth statue. Rebecca, how much would you pay for that?
One of them has a Sephiroth statue. I might buy that, but I don't know that I'd want to pay the fucking price of the rest.
No,
it's going to be a $200 piece of plastic.
Now, if it's a Sephiroth statue where he's stabbing Aaron
oh my god,
in a pool, I would buy that.
No, he doesn't stab her in a pool. She gets buried in a pool.
Well,
everyone would buy that.
He stabs her kind of above the pool.
No, stab her on an altar.
See, this is
My
what
point
this
is,
actually.
Are they really going to go full out and do each part right by me? Or is this going to be?
That's something
fucking let's charge them buku dollars for every little piece we dish out.
That's something I don't know. They could very well come out with franchise fatigue. But you're not going to know that until 2025, Greg. You're not going to know that until then. You're going to know...
I also don't want to wait 6 years for the full thing. I would rather just buy the complete version when it's done, almost.
Oh, jeez. He sounds just like
you know how many games I wait for to be complete before I buy them?
Whether you buy it in parts or wait until it's all released at once, you're still waiting the same amount of time.
Yeah. You just don't get to play any of the parts out of
that. You may be paying way less.
Well, of course you'll pay less if you wait. That's with every game.
I'm fucking somewhat cheap.
I don't know.
No, you're not.
The Laura in me is agreeing with that part.
FYI, if you wait a year, Death Stranding will be $15. I guarantee it.
You're a man who spent like $500 on an SNES game.
Yeah, how much did Earthbound cost you? Let's not. Okay. No, you're being
money at those times from
you're being silly. You're
I don't
arguing.
have money right now for
Anything.
anything.
You're
one of the
arguing
reasons I have no money right now for this is because somebody can't manage to play through Touhou.
Oh, for fuck's. That's the crux of the thing. Greg right there,
Yep.
he just...
I'll tell you
he's sitting there looking at his fucking wallet with moths coming out of it.
It is. It is. I'm broke.
I keep telling him to finish that one too, so that's not me, Greg. He could be working on it while I'm playing Fire Emblem and working on the Black Eagles part.
I have to do fucking Baldur's Gate too, and you're not working on no Black Eagles part.
I'm making notes!
You finished Touhou. I pre-ordered Final Fantasy VII.
Why do I care if you pre-order Final Fantasy? That's one more guide author to compete with me. Fuck you.
It's called Touhou.
I thought you would be happy with this. See,
no, I don't
now
need
you
your
can't
ass to
argue
fucking play it. Jared and I will write a guide for it. I don't need you.
Words hurt, Nathan.
Well, I'm stabbing you with them. How dare you insult Final Fantasy VII?
And how was I insulting it even once?
They're saying it's not worth it.
Square Enix may very well indeed make this game not worth the price. They may make you wish you had waited.
I don't think Square Enix is going to fuck up the first part. They might very well make me go in 5 years, God, they fucked that up. They couldn't fucking finish this off. They should have aimed lower. That is a very real possibility. But I can't judge parts of a game that don't exist yet. So I need to look at the things that do exist. And
these menus are laggy as fuck.
Oh, my bad. And I need to judge the stuff I can see right now. And from what I see of episode 1, it looks fucking great. It does. It looks just about like I want it to look.
It does look great. Did you see all the Shinra employees?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like... And I'll be fair. Like, I'm going to say right now, I'm dumb about a couple things. I'm dumb about the Infinity Engine games, and I'm dumb about Final Fantasy VII. I'm not so dumb that I'm going to pay $300 fucking for a Cloud statue on a motorcycle, because that's not worth it to me.
Well, hey now. Yeah, it's not worth it.
But the game looks good.
Wow.
Now the Cyberpunk thing, that dude on a motorcycle, that's fine, because they threw in a lot of swag in that collector's edition.
And it doesn't cost
so I'm all on board for that.
Other than the motorcycle and the Final Fantasy VII thing, what else do you have? There were like 3 in-game summons.
No, the only difference between the motorcycle statue and one extra in-game summon.
Motorcycle statue.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only difference between the deluxe edition and the collector's edition is the one in-game summon and a motorcycle statue.
It's either Carbuncle or Chocobo. I can't remember.
I think it's Carbuncle because Chocobo I think is in the deluxe.
Either way, it's not fucking worth it.
No, it's not.
Because it's Cloud.
Whereas Cyberpunk has fucking art book and pins.
Who else got that
badges.
collector's edition?
Yeah, we almost thought we'd have to get 2 collector's editions for that, because we're like, oh, how are we going to split this swag up?
Well, we're not splitting it. I get it all, and you get nothing.
No. Don't shoot me! You're going to make me miss the ramp. You made me miss the ramp, but I still made it.
Someone is running over me with their car.
That was me. I was trying to help you. Get there.
You were
fast.
trying to help me. I didn't shoot you.
Oh. Well, there was like...
You deserved
explosions.
that. Whatever happened to you? Okay.
I didn't die. I'm alive.
We were bracing for impact this E3, because I was like, Rebecca, there might be, like, some serious money getting dropped on Final Fantasy VII. Fortunately, Square Enix kind of made that easy on me. Like, the Deluxe Edition, that Steelbook looks fucking gorgeous, but the rest of that, nah. I don't need that statue.
I'm gonna be disappointed if playing through Final Fantasy VII may cost me $180.
It probably will, at the very least.
That's another thing. Am I gonna have like 3 Final Fantasy VII Steelbooks in my fucking desk?
Why are you saying that like it's a bad thing? You get the opportunity of having 3 awesome Final Fantasy VII Steelbooks, and you're whining about it? What are you going to whine about next? 3
$180.
Final Fantasy VII Platinum trophies? Greg, who are you?
Yeah, so that's another big question. Are they going to have 3?
I
want to know these things
They're
before.
far enough
Almost
apart.
certainly.
They're far enough apart. They're gonna have 3.
They're gonna have 3 platinums at least. How dare you whine about that like it's a bad thing? It did that for me too when I was playing with you earlier. It just randomly decided you've now joined Bkstunt's game. I'm like, oh, that's news to me. I thought I was here for a while. Anyways, Final Fantasy VII Episode 1 looks great. Hopefully it's got 60 hours of time in it. Jared and I were talking about some of the stuff that could happen with the game on Discord. I kind of want there to be super bosses, and Jared was talking about a super boss he fought in Final Fantasy IX, and I was like, I wonder what Ruby and Emerald weapon will be like in Final Fantasy VII, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to have to wait until the 3rd or 4th or whatever the fuck game to fight a super boss. So they better start throwing super bosses in every fucking episode. And I'm also worried how they're gonna like do import-export of characters and save files. I mean, for all we know, PlayStation 4 and 5 could be backwards compatible, and you know, it would just read the data on your account or whatever. And but see, I don't even want it to do that. Like, I want to carry my stats over, and my gear, and all my items and shit. I don't want to... I don't have to start over like a vanilla-ish party every time. Oh, you beat the game, so you get this much starting gil. Like, no, we don't need to Mass Effect this. It needs to have the same gameplay system every episode. It needs to have, like, I want my stats to carry over. But can't plan for that ahead of time, so right now I'm just looking at it going, we are getting a Final Fantasy VII RPG based on Midgar. Would I buy it if it was any other standalone? Yeah, I probably would. So I can't sit here and whinge about the things I don't know that may come to pass. Now, Greg, I'm going to do Kojima a massive favor here. Did you watch this 15-minute so-called gameplay trailer video, whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to tell us what you saw in this trailer.
Well, by watch, I mean I skimmed through it at work without any sound.
Okay, well, that's pretty much all I did, too.
Yeah.
I saw somebody zooming in to Sam's crotch over and over, and then he got upset and punched it.
Is this the second trailer?
I don't know. It was a. You guys saw that, right?
I saw both of them.
I saw Norman Reedus in a hot spring with a baby just floating there.
Which looked like fucking baby diarrhea. In the
Well,
it's really awful.
It's a hot spring,
terrible.
you know.
It's really gross. I almost threw up when I saw that.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, woman.
No, I did. Probably
I don't. I'm not saying you're a liar. I'm saying you're ridiculous.
It was gross. Made me think of diarrhea.
I saw you get a hoverboard. That's nice. carry all your shit on.
Yeah,
walking.
It'll make the Postman Simulator 2019 go fast, I guess.
Won't hurt Norman Reedus' back as much to be a postman.
Did you see combat?
Not as much as I hoped.
And by combat, I mean Norman Reedus running away from enemies.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see him fight one big enemy, I guess.
Oh yeah, that big cat thing he threw grenades at.
Somehow.
He threw a bunch of grenades at it. That's how he killed it.
It's not. I'm trying to travel. Who's in a menu?
Okay, I'm out.
It's kind of a menu.
Okay. Well, let me see. I actually went through this.
What's your massive favor you're going to do to the man that needs no favors from you?
Oh, well, he doesn't need them now, but talk to me in 2 months. Let me go look for this. Alright, I made a list of the stuff I saw in this trailer, okay? 0 minutes to 3 minutes. A cutscene. 3 minutes to 5 minutes. Menus. 5 minutes to 12 minutes. Walking. 12 minutes to 14 minutes 30 seconds. Talking. 14 minutes 30 seconds to 16 minutes. Walking. 16 minutes to 18 minutes. Sitting. I think he also tapped on his little baby jar a few times while he was sitting around. That's 2 minutes of sitting. 18 minutes to 22 minutes, traversal. This was various forms of walking, playing with ladders, and being on a hoverboard, and also fucking around with the parcels he was delivering. Riveting stuff. 22 minutes to 26 minutes, combat, mostly running away from enemies. He did do a stealth takedown of one enemy, but I didn't see him actually engage in anything that could be called combat with any other enemy. He got chased by two guys in what looked like weird-ass hazmat suits and ended up running away from them and jumping over a chasm to get away. That was the combat. 26 minutes to 29 minutes, walking with a hover package. At some point, one of the parcels he was carrying was on a little hover thing and followed him around, so I figured I would point out the variance in that for what it's worth. 29 minutes to 30 minutes, sneaking near oil ghosts. I don't know what they're called, so I'm just going to call them oil ghosts, because that's what they look like. He eventually got caught, as they do every single time you're near those things, so I don't know what the point of that sequence is. 30 minutes to 34 minutes. This was what I could call a boss fight. He was throwing grenades at an oil cat. I don't know what the dodging mechanics were. He didn't really seem to have any. The movement seemed pretty janky. You were walking around in oil and occasionally climbing on things, but whatever you were fighting didn't seem all that keen on killing you, and whoever was playing didn't seem all that keen on killing the oil cat thing, so it was mostly just weird walking around with an occasional fire grenade thrown. 34 to 35:30, walking more with a hover package. 35:30 to 37 minutes, bathing. 37 minutes to 43:30, more traversal. 43 minutes 30 seconds to 48 minutes 30 seconds, cutscenes. That was it. That's 9 minutes out of the 50-minute video that could generously be called gameplay. 10.5 minutes of talking and cutscenes. 20 and a half minutes of nothing but traversal. That's what I saw at this nearly hour-long Death Stranding video. And that is just objective. What was on the screen? I'm not making any value judgments of it at this time. Did anyone else watch this, and is that what they saw?
I saw a lot of walking around.
The other one, I did not do a time thing for. It was Norman Reedus sitting down and looking in a mirror, and then a lot of the shit I had already seen on the other videos, so I'm sorry I'm not as fixated on Norman Reedus as Kojima. I don't find it riveting to see Norman Reedus do his ablutions. It's just not something I care for. So yeah, that's Death Stranding. Now, Kojima calls this a new genre? The Strand genre? Does anyone know what the fuck that means?
It's pretentious as fuck.
Yes,
That's
Kojima's
what that
weird.
is.
Oh yes, he is very weird, that is for sure. He's got some ideas, because I read some articles. You're supposed to, like, help people. One of the things is that you, like, things you do in your game, like, if you leave a ladder, or I guess, he kept talking about building cottages, but I never saw them build anything in the demo, so I don't know if you can actually build anything, or how any of this actually works. But Kojima seems fixated on the idea that mountain cottages exist in Japan. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like a shared world, where some of the things you do... I know the big thing everyone's talking about is pissing on mushrooms makes more mushrooms grow or something. I don't know. But as far as, like, practicable gameplay that might have an effect, I guess you can leave ladders places and other people can use them. So somebody asked the no-brainer question, and if you start having PTSD flashbacks from Fallout 76, please let me know. They asked him, what if people, instead of being generous and helping each other, do what everybody online invariably does? Kojima said, knowing that not everyone has the best intentions online, we asked Kojima if he suspects some players will try to hinder rather than help other players. In his experience, this is unlikely. I pretty much feel there won't be much intentional evil.
Right. Has he ever played a game online? My guess is no after that statement.
Does he not remember what people did, like stealing each other's nukes in Metal Gear Solid 5? Did that slip his memory?
That's exactly what I was about to bring up. Well, see, I think that whole nuke thing was one of the better ideas he had.
I'm not saying griefing's a bad thing. I'm just... I mean, it kind of is, but not accounting for it in your gameplay.
Well, yeah, see, he accounts for it, too. They put in a special cutscene, like a special event would happen if you, like, denuclearize everybody online, right? What are the chances that would ever happen?
Well, maybe that's why Konami didn't want to pay him for cutscenes that would never fucking come out. Just a thought. I mean, look, dude thinks he's creating art, but at some point there does need to be a cost-benefit analysis. If it's my money and someone wants to create a gameplay mechanism and a cutscene that will almost likely never trigger and never sell anything, I'd be like, can you just, like, make some more weapons or something instead?
Yeah, well, this is Konami. They went and put, like, fucking insurance on your shit or something that you had to buy every week.
Oh no, Konami was utterly fucking ridiculous. Like, they were locking people in different departments and shit.
If you worked for them, you would probably be a fucktard too.
I wouldn't work for them. I wouldn't fucking put up with that shit.
Intentionally wasting
like, they are
money
way
to
too
waste
fucking
life.
corporate fascist for my liking. But, what worries me isn't, like, griefing and gameplay mechanics and shit like that, right? It's when I hear developers who should know better, like, it reminds me of Fallout 76, when Todd Howard was talking about how this magical gameplay system would work, and I'm like, I've played online games before. This is not what people fucking do. Like, there's no spirit of camaraderie. There are a small segment
There's
of psychotic players that figure out how to break the game, and if they can fucking make everyone else's life miserable while they do it, they will.
Remember the Fallout 76 death houses?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what people do. Right.
Well, I mean, that's the best, like, that's the best thing you can hope for people doing, is to be relatively benign, and I do think that was benign, because no one lost anything out of it, and most of the people were good sports at the end. That was funny and clever shit. Like, if they made a Fallout game where that was the whole fucking game, so much better than Fallout 76. But...
Well, I did find a few people when I was playing online that jolly cooperation was had, but not very much.
I mean, yeah, most of the people were friendly, but mostly because you really couldn't effectively be hostile. It's just that the game was so fundamentally...
It was very ineffective if you were hostile.
Yeah, but the game was just so fundamentally broken, it's like, even if you wanted to play together with a rando, like, you were at the mercy of just the level scaling of the area and 1,000 other stupid things.
Yeah.
So...
One of their dumbest ideas.
But when a developer is like... just not aware of what gamers are likely to do. I don't know, it makes me think of fucking Todd Howard sitting there fucking talking to me about this fantasy gamer utopia that we all knew didn't exist. Gamers are shit, they're assholes. You cannot leave anything in their fucking hands.
Could be you just have no opportunity to grief or ruin people's games due to, like, the asynchronous nature of it.
That could be, but I don't put faith in any developer to outsmart their community and keep them from griefing. Like, there may be an intention that is not possible, but I can almost guarantee you it's going to be possible. Someone will figure out how to do it. Someone will figure out that if you fucking, like, if somebody puts a ladder down horizontally, they can put one down perpendicular to it and make you fall through the ladder halfway across. They will do this shit. There's no doubt in my mind that will happen. If anything is remotely possible. Get over here, interrogator. Oh, he's got an armor bar and a health bar, and he's got a fuck ton of life. Shit. This might not end well.
I already died, so...
I would like to point out it is the great Ryan Harrison's birthday today.
Who?
You uncultured swine.
No, seriously, who is that?
The Game Packer. Ryan Harrison. I'm kind of GamePacks right up.
I don't know who that is. What was his screen name?
R. Harrison.
Ouch.
It's not so.
Yeah, no clue who that is. I don't think that's culture. In fact... Okay, well, I wasn't part of that clique. That's for sure. Somebody was posting on GameFAQs a while back about... Am I part of that culture? It's GameFAQs guide out their culture.
A third of that is in, like, your podcast name.
Well, that's true.
Arguably 2/3.
But I never interacted with these people until I started getting paid by somebody else, so...
I mean, so you're antisocial.
No, I just didn't know there was a community. I just wrote my guides.
Yeah. You didn't enter contests either, huh?
I didn't have internet at home.
The golden heyday
of stuffing guides full of useless content.
Yeah, maybe. I may have missed the golden heyday of that too, though, to be fair.
Somebody was talking about one of the benchmarks they wanted to hit for guide writing. This wasn't too long ago. It was a topic on GameFAQs, and one of the things they were talking about were like authors who, like, somebody got a whole bunch of upvotes, by their standards anyways, a whole bunch of upvotes on guides, and they're like, people who earn those, like, who get a whole bunch of upvotes and yeah, that's where I'm at too, and earn trophies for like the GameFAQs trophies. Which, does anyone pay attention to those?
Yeah, that's a relatively new thing.
Yeah, so he was talking about that and how some of those were benchmarks, and I didn't know what the hell he was talking about, so I went and looked at it, and he was talking about what, let me see what this is called, received 500 positive votes for guides. So one of the things he wanted was to get a whole bunch of positive votes for guides, essentially. What the hell is going on?
Now you're not in a simulation. Now you can fucking see what you're doing now.
Oh yeah, well that got me killed, so I don't think that was all that helpful.
Oh.
But yeah, there's a badge called, oh jeez, let me see the fucking name. Select Facts. You get one of these trophies for every 500 positive votes you get on your guides. And so them talking about, like, this being some standard for guide writing made me go look it up, because I don't fucking pay attention to this shit. And at the risk of inflating egos here, you want me to list the top couple of people on this list who achieved this trophy the most times?
Sure.
Number 1, Bkstunt 31, level 138. 69,288 upvotes. Number 2, Cyric Z. Number 3, Crystal 109. Number 4, Haeravon. So,
oh, look at that. They love us. They really, really love us.
I mean, apparently we've got 100,000 upvotes between us, so... And that translates into exactly $0.
Hello? My daughter's university? Can I pay with upvotes for my child's college education?
Your daughters have way more to worry about than their education costs, like the planet melting.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
Oh man. But I
accept upvotes.
I found that amusing because there are people talking about this as like some standard they aspired to, and here 2 of the top 4 people did. So,
I do know that they did away with Guide of the Month things, because I hardly ever go there anymore, it seems.
Yeah.
But they did away with that, which they were giving people what, $60 if they.
I think they bumped it up to 100.
Yeah, well, they did away with that, and now they do Contributor of the Month things, which my good friend Ryan won recently. They only do like 3 people per month now, and it's $100. So they've in a world where, like, you know,
everyone else is paying way more.
Everyone else is paying way more, and money is getting bigger. They've decreased. For whatever that's worth.
How much did you get paid for? Fuck, what was that guide you did for them?
$500.
That was
Sekiro.
Yeah.
That game is fucking hard, just for the record. I suppose everybody probably knows that.
Yeah. They paid me over twice as much for Fell Seal at Neo Seeker. just to keep things in perspective of why I don't write for GameFAQs. One of many reasons why I don't write for them anymore.
LCO's probably bigger.
It's a pretty hefty guide. It ended up being over 1 megabyte. And that's the guide where I really fucked around and started messing with tables and HTML formatting, so there was a lot of information, and that kind of was just a lucky guide because it got popular, and it was obscure when it came out and nobody was writing about it, so the Neo Secret Guide actually does really well in the search results, and it's got all of the shit in it, so yeah, that kind of just lucked into happening really well. Well, the point is, GameFAQs pays like shit, and there's a reason I haven't put any content on their site since 2015. And yeah, sorry, in case you're wondering, the reason is because I'm greedy and I want the things.
Yeah, if you were a college athlete, Tim Tebow would have some words for you.
Fuck Tim Tebow. Fuck him and his little religious fucking smug cunt face. But, like, look, okay, this is an exact parallel, though. There are people on that site that are drawing a paycheck. Like, I'm sure Alan is not fucking doing that job for free. When he starts doing that job for free, he can talk to me about doing it for free. Until then, there are people that are going to pay. And no, I don't think college athletes should fucking not get paid. They should get paid. Who shouldn't get paid nearly as much are all these fucking state employee college coaches that are fucking exploiting their labor and fucking profiting off of their future fucking infirmity.
I think CBS and the SEC have like $1 billion network deal.
Yeah.
That's how much money is in these things.
I see. Does anyone here watch college sports, just before I offend anybody too much?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I won't tell you bad people for watching it then. I can't bring myself to watch college sports. I can't bring myself to watch professional sports. Because the thought of sitting around for 4 hours watching a football game just makes my fucking eyes start to bleed. I can't imagine doing it. Maybe, like, if the Packers were in the Super Bowl, I would watch it. But watching, like, the fucking amateurs play where only 5% of the players are of any quality to ever make a run at the professional league, like, who wants to... What the fuck point is that? I don't understand why people watch college sports. Especially knowing that all these fucking kids are fucking getting injured for life and not getting paid.
You sent me a gun.
Yeah, press options and then R1 to go over the mail.
The game earlier said I sent myself a gun. Oh, yeah, I think you get a trophy for it.
R1's not doing it. Do I have to do is get a certain distance into the game?
I don't think so.
You said options and then R1, right? Doesn't get me mail. I see the little mail icon, but it's not.
Alrighty, let's keep going on with some news. Well, does anyone have any final thoughts on Final Fantasy VII or Death Stranding? Before we move on. No? Okay then. We got an article from GameIndustry.biz. Why Ubisoft isn't abandoning its open worlds. Oh shit. I do not need to be fighting a badass tink on my own, but here we go.
I fought plenty.
People like open worlds. How hard is this?
It depends on the open world, but I mean, people who criticize open world games are just... Like, it's not even a genre, it's just a way of organizing game content. You might as well complain about games that have, like, a continue option. Nope. 5 years ago, the publisher's major Q4 release was Assassin's Creed Unity, a title that, while open, is confined to one city, and if you focus purely on the main missions, can be polished off in around 15 hours. Came out of here too early. They're essentially saying they're not going to make any more short games like that. Ubisoft is now synonymous with open worlds, yet is there any chance it would ever return to more focused outings like Assassin's Creed Unity? No, CEO Yves Guillemot tells GameIndustry.biz. Our goal is to make sure you can have a Unity within an Odyssey, whatever the fuck that means. If you want to have a story of 15 hours, you can have it, but you can also have other stories. You live in the world and you pursue what you want to pursue. You have an experience like many Unity-like experiences. Which is kind of a convoluted way of saying, if you just want to blitz the fucking story, just blitz the story. If you want to go around and collect shit and level up and hunt for legendaries and do all this other extraneous bullshit that everyone should love, you can do that too. This is one of the criticisms everybody gets what they want, right?
Yeah, it's a good answer.
I think so. I mean, it's poorly worded, but the gist of it, I think, is correct. And this is one of the things I don't get when people criticize open worlds. Like, they complain about all the stuff they have to do and all the fucking mini games and all the like The Witcher 3, right? There have been people who whined about the card game, whined about having to clear off map markers, whined about the side quests, and it's like, you don't have to do any of that. They should be ashamed and shamed. But you don't have to do any of that, though, is the point. You can skip it. Those exclamation points on your map, you can ignore them if you just want to do the story. Teach you to follow me, creepy ass bastard. Yet as budgets have increased, the price point for end users remains the same, roughly $60, £50 for a new release. If Ubisoft is trying to make bigger and better worlds, is this model even sustainable? The response is, it's sustainable because the world is big and the number of players that can play our games is immense, says Guillemot. What we've seen in the last few years, the number of players that play our games is constantly growing. You throw in something for everyone and everyone plays your game. That's amazing. New markets are opening up and games live a lot longer than before, so at the moment we see that we can continue to increase investments because we know we have a return on investment that can be quite long-tailed. And I have to say, for a company that gets a lot of shit, like, for some reason Ubisoft is still put on EA-type levels by some people. Maybe not quite that bad, but they're still viewed disparagingly. With what they've done in the past couple of years... No. Like, if you just look at Assassin's Creed, I know some people don't like the story direction, and I can't fault them for that. I can see that. Personally, I don't care because I stopped paying attention to that fucking convoluted go-nowhere useless-ass story a long time ago. But, yeah, they have microtransactions in their games, and yeah, it's shitty. I don't like any microtransactions in games. But as somebody who has played through Origins and Odyssey, as far as predatory, evil, scumbag, douchey microtransaction goes, those are some of the most benign ones in gaming. You don't need any of that shit. You will find the gear as you play. I can't imagine anyone spending money for, like, basic crafting resources in Origins or Odyssey, considering how much I ended up with at the end of the game. And I know we've had this argument where, like, I have self-control, and that's good for me, hooray. At least when it comes to things that aren't made of high-fructose corn syrup. But some people don't. And those whales are the ones who are being exploited. Yeah, I know, I get that. It's douchey, but if you are a gamer without a gambling addiction and you just want to play the game and not be burdened by the existence of the microtransactions, they're there, but you're not going to really care about them. And the gameplay and the amount of content in your average Assassin's Creed game, not to mention just the overall quality of the game, has increased substantially in the past few years. And I'll have to admit, like, of all the fucking gaming rumors out there right now, the idea of a Viking-based Assassin's Creed game, it's up there. It's up there. It sounds like that is something I would look at buying day one. An open-world Assassin's Creed RPG where I can play a fucking Viking? Fuck yeah, sign me up. $60.
I mean, God of War.
I mean, well, yeah.
You played God of War, right?
I played, yeah. I haven't beat it, but I played it. I mean, that game was just fantastic. I was skeptical about them going into Norse mythology, but I was also kind of sick of the Greek mythology, and now that I've seen the Norse mythology and, like, the benefits of the graphics and all they were able to do with that, man, I wish they would, like, remake the old Greek ones in the new style. Because they could just focus on some of the prettier aspects of the Greek mythology, and it just stood out a lot more in the more recent God of War because of just how better the production values of video games have gotten. Romancing Saga 3 launches November 11th in the West.
I did a review for Romancing Saga 2 when it came out.
You gonna do a review for this one?
Yeah, there's a pretty good chance.
What type of game is it?
Those, they're 16-bit JRPGs that instead of leveling up, like killing enemies, gaining experience, you have the Final Fantasy II system where you just randomly and chaotically gain stats and gain abilities and whatnot.
Is it based on like how you fight, or isn't there a Final Fantasy game like that? Okay.
Yeah, Final Fantasy II.
Okay.
Which I don't like that system.
It sounds easily exploitable. Like, I think somebody played that recently, like where you could just like use unarmed melee attacks to boost some stat or something. Am I thinking about the right thing, or?
Yeah, FF2 was really exploitable.
No.
Yeah.
Like
You could grind
for,
it.
like, the first half of the game was basically your bare fist.
See, I like that kind of shit. I mean, I don't know. It's probably not a good thing to have.
You can punch yourself.
Yeah, but you gotta spend like 100 hours fucking doing it or something.
Or get a turbo controller. Speaking of which, I got a cheap-ass turbo controller for the Switch. And Rebecca, do you care to comment on it? You've used it a bit for Fire Emblem grinding, just a tid.
Well, it does make that easier. It also is really hard to turn the turbo off. So...
Yeah, we gotta figure out how to use that better, so...
And that may just be, I'm an idiot. It's probably like a quick way to turn it off, but I just can't figure it out.
I got a third-party controller for the PlayStation 3, and it had a turbo function, and good God did that make Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2 a lot easier. And, I was like giving my thumb arthritis last week playing Fire Emblem. Because I'm trying to level up characters. Gregory knows what I'm doing. Leveling up characters, learning all their skills, seeing what each character learns. So I can write it down in a little fucking guide, and then everyone can fucking not pay attention to it because... whatever. It's information no one really needs. Yeah. But it's, you know, I know that it should be in a guide. It is information that conceivably somebody would want. And I don't cut corners because I'm not a smart person when it comes to what I call my profession. So yeah, it's getting done, even though I probably should focus on something else instead. But whatever. It is a Hori Nintendo Switch HoriPad wired controller. It's a weird-ass little controller. It comes with 2 different D-pads that you can screw in, and one of them is like the 4 individual buttons, and the other one is the proper D-pad. And I'll just say this up front. Ari, if you are buying a controller for a good D-pad, this is not the one.
No.
Then
no,
again,
I'm very happy. I am
Okay.
very happy with that 8-bit dough. That is good.
Okay, so you like your 8-bit dough.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Do
heard
you
good things about those.
do you care to say anything else about it, or?
No problems with it so far.
Okay. This controller is significantly cheaper. It cost me $17.49. That's as cheap as it gets. And it doesn't have vibration or gyro function, so know what you're getting when you buy it. And it weighs like nothing. There is nothing
Hey,
inside
there's-
of this fucking controller. Yeah, I was doing the quest.
There's a legendary. I was doing a legendary hunt. I was
Oh,
about to
okay.
invite you all over.
Oh. Well, you could have
But
entered a menu
otherwise,
to
like,
cancel it and said something.
I didn't see that we were transitioning. But like one of the things that's usually bad on these third-party controllers are the analog sticks. And those are usually the things that can't afford to be bad. And on this Hori controller, they're actually not bad. They're pretty responsive and fluid feeling. I haven't tested them out in any action-y games. I'm not even sure how many action-y games I own on the Switch, but it does have a turbo function, and if you are playing a game that requires you to mash a lot of buttons and doesn't require the best fine-tuned precision, it might not be a bad sub-$20 controller. Need to play it more. I have no idea how the build quality works. I just got it today, and it's been played with for like 2 hours?
About 3.
Okay. I mean, what do you think of the buttons and everything?
Yeah.
They weren't like repulsively offensive.
The plus button's a little annoying, but it's 'cause it
Yeah, but
sticks
that's
up
bad
really-
even on the...
Yeah, well, this one sticks up too far, and the other one doesn't stick up enough. So
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I guess fine, Greg.
I'll just kill the badass.
Steal my 100 experience, why don't you?
you did.
But yeah, so far it's not bad. And I've spent money on controllers before that were cheap and shitty. Like that aforementioned PlayStation 3 controller, which is really just an Xbox copy controller, but it works on the PlayStation 3. I bought one of those, and it was surprisingly good build quality, again, for the sub-$20 market. And I was like, sweet, this is actually good enough that I will buy a second one of these, just to fucking have a spare for my spare. And then the second one came in, and it was the same thing. It was the same Amazon link. And the second controller we got was fucking shit. Like, it was crudely cut and molded out of inferior quality plastic, even compared to the first one, which was itself a relatively cheap third party.
Knockoff of a cheap knockoff.
Yeah, it was not appealing at all. So I'm not gonna praise this Hori controller too highly either, because I went to Platinum Borderlands 1 on the PS3, and I had to switch from that off-market controller to the actual DualShock 3 because the controls were just not precise enough for a first-person shooter. So I don't know if this Hori controller is like that, but those are issues that can happen with third-party controllers where they're just not up to snuff compared to the first-party stuff. I have no idea what I'm just killing on this.
I've got a new spider.
Oh boy, what's this
Check
one
it
do?
out. Yeah, this one's just bigger.
Oh, okay. Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions. Because it's not a Japanese game unless it has a colon in the title. Launches December the 3rd in the West. Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions is an enhanced version of the 2016 title Saga Scarlet Grace, originally released exclusively in Japan. Packed with a variety of improvements and additions, this version includes new improvements in graphics, character voiceovers, 2 new characters not included in the game's initial release, and more. So, if you didn't import it like a weirdo, or you didn't live in Japan, like a normal person, then you can get your opportunity to play it now? Or, well, December. Kemco and City Connection announced strategy RPG Revenge of Justice. Justice is pissed. That's my own add-on. Sorry, I shouldn't confuse people, because for a Japanese title, it could very well have that as a subtitle.
Yeah, sure.
I should be more clear, but this almost seems like a game Greg might like. It's got tiles and chibi sprites.
Chibi sprites.
Looks like another Tactics clone. Different height elevations and blocks and shit.
Yeah. Actually, you take a bathroom break. I'll be right back.
Well, I'm not going to pander to you anymore with more Tactics stuff.
Oh, well.
Oh, and the next story we have coming up, too. Ooh, okay. Anyways, go on. I'll go get through some of this other
Bathroom
news.
breaks wait for no one.
That's what buckets are for, Greg. Bug Fables, the Everlasting Sapling, launches on November 21st for PC via Steam. I've never been happy to see a game come out on Steam before, but after all this Epic Games bullshit, it's almost, okay, it's not really comparable to when a game comes out on GOG, because that's still far superior, but still. Steam is the evil I know, damn it. Okay. And this game was a cute little game where you play 3 bugs in an RPG. What game did you compare this to, Jared?
Paper Mario.
Okay. It does look cute. It looks like something like, if you like Cat Quest, you should probably like this, just because you like the same brand of stupid cute game. Hey! God damn it, get away from the door! Gotta slide out of there. That's actually the way you can trap somebody in there. Just next to the door. Yokai Watch 4, coming to the PlayStation 4. No longer a Nintendo exclusive. What do you think about that, Jared?
Great.
I approve. I think it's a Pokemon-type title. Is this a series with the poop demon? I can't remember. Japan's a weird fucking place. Resident Evil 4 vs. 1 multiplayer spin-off, Project Resistance, was revealed. And whatever this game could have been, it's an asymmetric PvP game. And honestly, I don't know why this genre is still alive. Has there ever been one of these games that was actually good? Because I've seen Evolve and shit. I know there were others, but I don't remember any single game of this genre being particularly compelling. But someone must be making money off it because they keep making them. 4 players must work together to escape the clutches of a player-controlled mastermind, whatever the fuck that is.
Oh, this is one of those games like Dead by Daylight or something like that.
The game I'm familiar with of this genre is Evolve, but maybe.
This asymmetrical multiplayer.
Yeah, 4 players. Yeah, 4 players play relatively weak characters, and then one player plays a powerful monster and tries to kill the 4 players. I guess that Friday the 13th game is like that too, huh?
Yeah, Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight are the 2 that I see people play on my list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be okay, but I've never seen one that I find compelling. They're also making a Predator game like that, which
Yeah, I could see
from
that.
a concept standpoint sounds awesome, but like I just know it's going to let me down in execution. I guess I don't know that, but I have a strong suspicion. Oh. And I'm going to hold off on this story because I want to see Greg's tears. Man, it's cut out. This is actually... I'm going to surprise everyone with my take on this, I swear. Nintendo announces exercise adventure game. Ring Fit Adventure for Switch with dedicated accessories. Okay. Did anyone watch this trailer when I posted it in Discord?
Yes.
Alright, what it is a combination of lightweight training, like resistance weight training, and yoga, where you have some ring that you do exercises with. You pull it and compress it in various ways to various degrees, and you do various different poses, and the successful completion of these exercises counts as attacks in this game, and it is essentially an exercise RPG from what I can tell, where you've got to do, like, some enemies are weak to yoga attacks, so you've got to fucking do a specific yoga position, and the better you do it, the longer you hold it or whatever, the more damage you deal. And as a fat guy who loves RPGs, this might not be a terrible idea. I am going to give Nintendo some credit for this. This could actually be kind of neat. The game and the accessory ring that comes with it are being sold together in a pack for $80, and for Nintendo, I find that surprisingly reasonable, considering they want to sell cardboard for the same amount.
Yeah, that's what I said. At least this thing isn't made out of cardboard.
You're right. So, like, look, this could suck and not actually be useful to anybody. And this could be awesome and make fat little dorks like me go lose some fucking weight while they fucking play an RPG. I would prefer something a little different, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers, and I think it looks perfectly fine and might actually come to some good effect. So I am not going to shit on this. I think it looks neat. Rebecca, what do you think?
We have a small house and it wouldn't work terribly well in our place.
Oh, I'm not saying we're going to buy it. I mean, as much as I like the idea of mixing exercise with RPGs, what I like even more is mixing soda with RPGs. See this? I'm hopeless. Monster Hunter World Iceborne expansion shipments and digital sales top 2.5 million. So there's a very good chance that Monster Hunter World, with its Iceborne expansion, are going to end up selling over 20 million units. That's kind of fucking amazing, honestly. Is this the best-selling Capcom game of all time, or... It can't be. No, really? Over all the Street Fighter games?
Yeah, it was the best at 10 million.
Wow. Well, I guess it doesn't help that they all, they split all the Street Fighter games into, like, 18 different editions, so... Like, how can you really calculate the sales Street Fighter 2 has? Do you count Turbo? Do you count Championship? Do you count Ultimate? Do you count whatever the fuck they have? That is actually surprising. This is a story that actually annoyed me. Fire Emblem 3 Houses patch revises sensitive dialogue. This is from Nintendo Life. Earlier this week, Nintendo released a patch for Fire Emblem 3 Houses on Nintendo Switch. If you're interested, the change of voice actor for the voice actor for male Byleth is one of the bigger stories to come from it. But fans have spotted something that clearly wasn't spelt out in the list of updates. As it happens, the specific dialogue coming from character Bernadetta has been altered. Anyone who updates the game will now see the revised text. Originally, the sentence in question was significantly longer, with Bernadetta sharing details of an abusive relationship. The new text doesn't change the plot in any way, but tones down some of the more sensitive parts of the quote. Greg, you came back just in time. We're talking about your Fire Emblem waifu being censored.
Which one?
Bernadetta.
Why would anyone censor Bernadetta?
The original quote: "To train me to be a good, submissive wife, he'd do things like tie me to a chair and leave me there all day, challenging me to stay quiet." The quote after the patch: "To train me to be a good wife, he'd do things like tie me to a chair." So we had to get rid of that good, submissive wife part, and I think this actually hinders the character development of Bernie in a small way, but it's there.
Why it's dumb, because it's supposed to be a bad thing. We're censoring the bad things.
It is dumb.
Are they afraid of the word submitter or something? Jesus.
Yeah, to teach him to be or teach her to be a submissive wife. That's the thing that I don't get. Like, they never once said that her being a good submissive wife, like, that was a thing she should actually aspire towards.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, it's supposed to be bad. Like, if you're complaining about it, you're missing the entire point.
Yeah. I mean,
which I guess is part of the course when it comes to these people.
Well, they don't care about the point. They don't care about nuance. They just want to be offended.
That's why I don't understand these companies cater for.
This is the one thing that I actually... Like, I don't do the Gamergate shit anymore because that turned into a fucking right-wing cesspool of fucking incel idiots and fucking white supremacists. But, yeah, and misogynists too. Let's not forget to throw them in during this crucial juncture. But the people on the other side do have fucking issues that I still don't fucking like. And the idea to censor, like, pretty much every bad thing a villain could do to anybody, you know, all the stuff that makes them villainous, I think just does a great disservice to storytelling. Like, you do need characters to do bad things if you want them to be proper villains. Like, Sephiroth killing Aeris is, spoiler alert, for 1997, is kind of important. And, I mean, I could go on, like, John Irenicus did some pretty bad stuff, too. It's just... This is what makes villains villainous, and even more than that,
it never gets their direct. Well, I mean, I'm not just.
I mean, yeah, that's the bad side. Sometimes evil does get away with it. I mean, not going to cite any names, but we know examples from reality, right? But even more important than making villains villainous, it should motivate the hero to be heroic. Like, the stuff that the hero goes through is what they overcome. It's what gives them the fucking resolve to do all the heroic stuff. And I don't know how you can censor that out and not entirely cripple the story. Destroy the final dish. I can't even see where it is.
Oh, it's up on the mountain.
Yeah, it's the first one's on top of this thing, the second one's to the right.
Oh, I see it now. Okay.
It helps to have a weapon like the zoom, of course.
Yeah, I'm switching.
Once you guys are done in this map, I said we go back to the other one and kill that notorious monster. Which I think, like, if I had the right proportion for this game for a Neo Seeker, it would be probably the hunts.
You want to do that? That's fine.
I like the hunts.
I mean, that's something that should be in there. So, by all means, I'm not gonna be picky with content. If you get bored of Fire Emblem, it could be a nice side task. So.
I was also gonna add, you guys. Did you guys see that Stardew Valley added in fish farming?
I mean, they added in a lot of shit since the last time I played it. Like, they've added multiplayer back in the day.
Yeah,
we haven't gone back to.
We added in fish farms. Although
I just
the
don't
big reason
know.
I bring that up is because I've been playing that Story of Seasons game.
Okay.
And they actually had fish farming and brewing and stuff like that.
See, I just don't know if there's any incentive for me to go back to Fire Emblem. Not Fire Emblem. Stardew Valley. What the fuck is wrong? I've got Fire Emblem on the brain. I mean, there's no more trophies to get, you know.
Why, there's the one.
Well, I ain't getting that.
Cannibal trophies to get.
That is out of my skill level.
It is out of my skill level too. But I know I can do it. It just takes time. I've gotten all the way to the boss without dying. I've beaten the final boss without dying. But I've never stringed those two things together.
Yeah, I shouldn't say it's out of my skill level, because I'm not sure it is, but it's definitely out of my give a fuck to do it level. I mean, it might be fun to multiplay Stardew Valley, but we'd have to come to terms with the fact that we're not getting any trophies, Greg.
There better be... I should go see if they made that one trophy multiplayer. That's the... If they did that, we could definitely do it.
I don't know. I'd take a bullet easily.
Yeah, one person could be in front taking bullets and the other person could survive.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't get my hopes up if I were you.
I know. It's like that Final Fantasy 9 jump rope and fucking trophy.
Yeah, well, they made fucking mods to do that for you.
Yeah, I know.
Does that actually work, Jared?
Well, you have to tinker with it a bit.
Okay. So the news I wanted to save for Greg. Castlevania Grimoire of Souls has a TGS 2019 trailer. Unfortunately, it is a mobile game.
Oh, I cried because I'm so sad.
What? Konami's giving you a Castlevania game? What are you fucking whining about? Go buy it. Don't you have a phone? I mean, like, the problem with Konami, well, there's not just one, but, they are over keen on the cost-benefit analysis. I do think you need to do a cost-benefit analysis, but if there's something you could do that would get you, like, I don't know, a 3-to-1 return on investment, and there's another thing that could get you a 10-to-1 return on investment, my response is, why wouldn't you just do both if you have the resources for it? Like, you can't tell me that you have the money to make Metal Gear Survive, but you couldn't fucking make, I don't know, a Bloodstain type game? What the fuck is this thing? I don't like it, and I'm gonna grab it.
That's what I'm constantly saying, man. Like, as long as you can pay your employees that are working on the project, sell the game, and you come out in the black, right? Net profit. overall. Why the fuck, as a company, wouldn't you want to do that?
I mean, like, if you had to prioritize one, obviously do the...
I'm getting enough money.
Yeah, shareholders are the fucking bane of just businesses in general. They make profitable, sensible ventures fundamentally unsustainable in the long term. And that resorts to shitty desperation tactics like making Anthem instead of making a game anybody actually wants. Speaking of which, should play Anthem sometime. You know, like next year. What else do we have here? Neo 2 is launching Q1 2020. I mean, between Final Fantasy VII and Cyberpunk, that's just... I don't know, man. Unless it comes out like January fucking 10th, that's a bad spot.
Yeah, I am forced to agree. That's a great game, though. But, you know.
Is there character creation in Neo 2? Did they... I thought they changed that. So you're not just playing as dude anymore.
Yeah, there is actually.
You know how much more likely that makes me to play it, right?
A lot?
Substantially, yes.
From the demo I played, here's the biggest things. Actually, I guarantee this character creation. Here's the three biggest changes. In character creation, obviously, up there.
Woohoo!
They have the second biggest thing is that they have a. It's almost like you gain. You can kill yokai and gain their abilities. Certain abilities, and you can mix and match them and equip them.
So,
like,
Bloodstained?
Your character can just grow a demon arm, grab an enemy, and just like slam them down on the ground like 3 or 4 times. No, not like Bloodstained. You said Bloodstained, and I thought I thought Bloodborne or something.
Yeah, killing enemies and learning their shit.
Yeah, a little like Bloodstained. Yeah.
See, I've played the game now. I can reference it.
The third biggest thing was they actually have more of a skill tree system than the first game. The first game had like linear progression with weapons. This one's like a fucking map, stretching out in various ways, and you can choose how you want to go. They also have this is too minor for me to call it a big thing, but they have a new set of weapons, 2 sickles you can fight with.
Aren't there like randomized loot drops in Neo?
Oh yeah, that's all from the first game too.
But it's not quite like Diablo-like. Like, you're not going to get a weapon drop that just makes you super powerful. No, I mean, but will you get a really good weapon sometimes, and then you're just like, oh, this thing that was hard is now easier?
Yeah. Probably not to that extent.
Okay.
But see, here's the thing: you'll get a weapon, like you'll have a lance, right? And you'll be investing in lance skills, and then you'll get this double sickle drop that's just, oh my god, do I need to just reinvent my whole fucking loadout?
Can you reinvent your loadout easily?
Yeah.
Okay.
This Neo's really kind of got a lot of good quality of life things to it. Like if you like the look of an armor, or you like an armor set, because you know armor sets will give you bonuses, right? Yeah. Like every fucking good Diablo game should, right? But you find a piece of armor that you like that looks better. You can glamour your current armor with whatever other armor you find.
Oh, I forgot how to do this thing. That's not how.
Look upwards, there's a thing up. Because the target upwards.
Oh, I see it. Right.
It's just like, I
Well,
don't
it's
know,
night
some
out.
city boy something, they only see nature documentaries.
I know I shot the damn thing. Do I gotta keep
And
shooting
everybody
it?
else, it's way too quiet. Is this the Greg and Nathan show?
It always is. You know how it is. See, I have Neo, and Rebecca has Neo, and we could play Neo, but... It has a weird progression system where, like, you have to clear it yourself first before you can do it with friends, so...
Which I don't like.
Wow, why is it not working? Is there another thing I've got to hit, or did it actually start? But I didn't pay attention. Okay. Okay, I was expecting for it to, like, light up or something. Silly me. Expecting feedback from the game. I mean, yeah, Neo 2's on the list. Neo 1's on the list. I just haven't actually fucking played it, because... I mean, I played the demo of it, and it was a little too soulsy for my taste, but it seems like they changed it significantly from the demo. Like the early Neo 1 demo I played. Because they didn't have, like, any of that shit in there. So, I should give it a try at some point, but, I mean, like I said, unless Neo's just coming out at a bad time of the year, and probably not much chance I'll buy it. I'll just wait until Black Friday and see if I can nab it then. And it's hard to complain about getting the first Neo for $15, so...
Is that the complete edition?
Oh, no, I don't think so. This was before that was even out.
Neo was a long game.
Yeah, I remember you were waiting that guy for it forever.
And even more so if you get like the DLC edition.
I should actually add that to my wish list so I can pick it up when it goes on sale. If it goes on sale. Okay. Atelier Dusk Trilogy Deluxe Pack announced for PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC. Publisher Koei Tecmo and developer Gust announced Atelier Dusk Trilogy Deluxe Pack for blah blah blah. I already mentioned that. PC is Steam, by the way, not Epic Game Scan. During the Atelier Ryza, Ever Darkness, and the Secret Hideout plus Gust special stage, Jesus Christ, why do they have to make everything so long? Event at Tokyo Game Show 2019. A release date was not announced, but a worldwide release is confirmed. The deluxe pack includes Atelier Aisha, the Alchemist of Dusk DX, Atelier Esha and Logi, Alchemists of the Dusk Sky DX. Somebody ask these fuckers what DX means, because I don't think they know. Yeah, it better mean that. And Atelier Shally, Alchemist of the Dusk Sea DX. The re-releases will include the additional elements to the Plus versions of the game. So they're Plus Deluxe editions, I guess. Plus numerous downloadable content included out of the box. That's what they wrote, not my flub. Oh, you're still the best site out there, Gamatsu. I love you. Who wants to come kill these fucking Varkid uniques with me?
Yeah, I'm right behind you, man.
I'll be right behind you, if you know what I mean.
There it is.
Okay. Sorry. Did a little Stephen Lynch there. Way of the Samurai spin-off, Katanakami. Did I say that right? Katanakami? Announced for PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC.
Where are we?
Hopefully I'm running in the right direction. Okay. Publisher Spike Chunsoft and developer Acquire announced Way of the Samurai series spin-off swordplay action RPG Katanakami. I almost said that right. for PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC during the Famitsu Times Dengeki live stream on the third day of TGS 2019. It will launch physically and digitally in early 2020 in Japan for roughly 4,000 yen. About $35, $40. If we have to convert to petro money. Yeah, you're level 20, but you're gonna die like you're fucking level 7. Oh, he killed the fuck out of your bug, didn't he?
Yeah, I wish I
Oh, I can't
Yeah,
revive
the
it for
monkey's
whatever
dead
reason.
too.
Oh, wow, this thing is not fucking around, is it? Yeah, don't get hit by this thing. Yeah, oh. Okay, now I can revive this pet. Mistake!
My racks are just fucking killing me. You see, I got 4 of them now. They're doing like 400 plus damage.
Yeah, this... Wait, is that like an active skill you activate, or...?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that class seems a little overpowered, but...
Oh, I just tore that thing up.
Alright, shoot your... Yeah, they're much more generous about the drops in this game.
Oh, this is bankroll predatory lending. It's a SMG, 17 damage, 60 magazine size. Bullets are cheap, but not that cheap. Don't know what that means. Guess we'll find out.
Does it do elemental damage?
Hold on, I gotta drop something. I got some shield called the Golden Touch. I want to know where to go with that.
You've been picking up legendaries, haven't you?
Oh, now that shield's
Oh, right. Yeah, I like killing these fucking bugs. We could probably get all kinds of loot just doing these bug runs. 4 bosses right at the beginning of the game.
There's another hunt in the second map off to the right. You guys want to do that real quick?
Yeah. Hey, Rebecca. How you doing?
I fell asleep for a little bit, so the stream's probably gonna be really confusing.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
So, how engrossing are you finding Borderlands 3?
I'm just really tired.
Okay. Hey, I'm the one who slept for an hour. I knew I shouldn't have let you eat pizza.
You shouldn't have made me stream.
I made myself some tacos, took some ground beef, put in a can of refried beans, can of black beans, seasoning, mixed it all up, made 2 servings of rice, threw that in there, threw in some cheese.
For the record, I never did go,
Don't out yourself, Greg.
Yeah,
You
well,
didn't.
I mean, I didn't do it, so.
I don't believe you.
Did not do it.
I think you're trying to cover. Rebecca, would you be mad if I just, like, went off and got myself Mexican food?
If you don't bring any back from me,
Well, what if he didn't tell you?
I'd find out.
Well, yeah, but then would you be mad? Would be the question.
If I don't get any Mexican food, yeah.
How many times have you gone to rallies without me?
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna drive home while I'm at work and don't have an hour-long break.
Hey! It's not my fault that you can't move mountains to get me the burger I deserve. Okay? Fact is, you ain't getting me my burger. Neo 2 open beta set for November 1st to November 10th. Maybe I'll actually try that out. Haven't had much luck with betas and demos. Like, well, Dragon Quest Builders 2, I played that demo and I was like, oh, this game's fucking good. And I still didn't buy it. But like Nier Automata, I played that demo and I was like, this kind of sucks. And I didn't buy it, and the game turned out to be really good, so... Oh well.
So this hunt is over on the right.
Yeah.
In the scrap. It's a flying thing, so...
Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate launches for PlayStation 4 and Switch on December 19th in Japan. And in addition to the previously announced characters, I think one of which was Joan of Arc, they are adding in Hades and Achilles from their ill-fated Troy game they made a while back. And I should actually look into that game more, because I remember being somewhat interested in that that Troy game that Koei made, but I think its release date was set for around the time that I'm shooting your bug again instead of the actual enemies.
It's not too bad.
That Warriors of Troy game? Well, like, I was paying attention to it, and then it just kind of, like, vanished, and I think it was set to come out, like, around the time of that Fukushima disaster. I think it just kind of got buried by all that shit. So... I could be wrong. I need to look at the dates to confirm that, but... I mean, then it wasn't, like, the super most important, popular, useful game ever. So...
Speaking of Joan of Arc, you guys ever play that PSP? Oh, right. Just grabbed it right out of the unit. You got, did you ever play that Joan of Arc PSP game?
No, I've seen it before. I've seen box art of it, I mean... Well, that was a waste.
I just got another fucking bunch.
Oh, well, at least somebody got something.
Jesus Christ.
I'm telling you, if we wanted to farm legendaries, we could just do these over and over again.
Yeah, the hunts are where it's at, that's for sure.
But I don't really see a reason to do that yet. Maybe when we're level 50, there'll probably be better things to grind by then, but you don't know. If there's a separate trophy list...
Damn sticks, is get back Spithead. It's 28 damage per second fire damage, 20 damage per shot. It's COD though.
Ow. Oh, Rebecca, when you're level 12, let me know.
I'm level 10.
Oh, well, I guess it doesn't matter. We need to get to Sanctuary anyways. I can get you a pistol that does shock damage and incendiary damage, and when you fire it as one type of damage, it ricochets and comes back as the other type of damage. It fires really fast. Pretty much functions like an SMG. But it won't use your SMG ammo, so... but yeah, if Warriors Orochi 4 has its own trophy list, I will buy that again when its price goes down, because I really enjoyed Warriors Orochi 4. I'd go so far as to say it's one of the best Musu games, that's one of their own IPs anyways, that they've made in a long time. Like, far better than Samurai Warriors 4, Dynasty Warriors 8, especially better than 9. I mean, they kick it up a notch when they're working with somebody else's IP, like the Fire Emblem Warriors and,
Neo.
Yeah, I mean, those are all much better, but still, it's not bad.
Shit. I was just standing here looking at my inventory and got two badass skags just to use fucking
Get him, Greg. You can win.
Oh yeah, I got him.
TGS 2019 tops 262,000 visitors.
That's some sort of record. I don't have any records.
Let me see what they say about it. No, they just break it. Wait.
There's a weapon chest in this little tunnel that you have to slide under.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. No, I guess they're just announcing the numbers. There's no indication of why that's relevant or not.
Right here. I guess you could just crouch.
Yeah, but that's not cool.
Yeah, you could just be slow.
Slide, Rebecca.
Oh,
No! Yeah, when you're running, hit circle.
Oh, I wasn't running though.
Well, you can always slide out. I'm gonna watch you and see if you slide out. Yay!
The Cool Kids Club.
Find the big suck. Okay. Oh, if you do the quest where you find like all the fuck, I don't even know what they're called. Let me go look. Not legendary hunt. Yeah, the Typhon logs. You'll get a chest that has a bunch of loot in it. It is well worth seeking them out. Oh. Ooh, we went back to another area.
Yeah, if you want to do the big stuff.
Video game retailer GameStop has seen better days. This is from GameSpot, ironically. In August, the company announced a huge round of layoffs that impacted more than 100 employees, including some members of the Game Informer staff. The company's stock is at an all-time low, trading around $5 per share compared to more than $46 per share back in 2015. GameStop has a plan to turn things around, and now the retailer has shared more details. During an earnings call on September 10th, GameStop shared more details on what it called the GameStop Reboot Initiative. The overall aim of this is to improve the financial performance of the business and implement a series of initiatives that will support the long-term success of the business and create value value creation for stakeholders. Because, oh God, appease them stakeholders. God forbid you just keep fucking people employed. We're committed to acting with a sense of urgency to address the areas of the business that are critical to achieving long-term success and value creation for all our stakeholders, GameStop CEO George Sherman said in a statement. We will set GameStop on the correct strategic path and fully leverage our unique position and brand in the video game industry. Damn it, Rebecca! Our strategic plan is anchored on our 4 tenets, which include optimizing the core business by driving efficiency and effectiveness, creating the social and cultural hub of gaming within each GameStop, building compelling digital capabilities, and transforming our vendor and partner relationships for an evolving video game industry. This is a compelling new strategic vision for the company, and we've already started to execute against all 4 pillars. We also remain committed to returning capital to shareholders and balancing the opportunity against the need to maintain a strong balance sheet to properly run our business and invest in responsible growth. The 4 main pillars of GameStop's Reboot Initiative include the following descriptions written by GameStop. Optimize the core. By the way, if you are allergic to corporate speak, get your fucking EpiPen.
Yeah.
Optimize the core business by improving efficiency and effectiveness across the organization, including cost restructuring, laying people off. Let's be real, that's what they mean. Inventory management optimization, selling things that perform well. Adding and growing high-margin product categories, pretty much what they just said. And rationalizing the global store base, i.e. close down low-performing stores. Those are my interpretations of it, so Become the social/cultural hub for gaming. Create the social and cultural hub of gaming across the GameStop platform by testing and improving existing core assets, including the store experience, knowledgeable associates, and the Power Up Rewards loyalty program. I feel sorry for every fucking GameStop employee who's going to get fired, but more sorry for all the ones who are going to keep their job, who are going to fucking get paid not a penny extra and be forced to fucking lick ass like never before.
Enjoy the butt taste.
So, yeah, it's, because that's what they're saying, basically. We are going to try and make it so that all our employees are just some fucking avatars of gaming. Oop. No, we're not doing that adult varkage.
Does this weapon look weird?
Does it look weird?
Yeah.
It's like a taped together Super Soaker or something.
Who here owned a Super Soaker when they were young?
Me.
Who didn't own a Super Soaker?
Well, that's why I'm trying to suss out the weirdos.
Even I had one. I grew up pretty poor.
Yeah.
And it was Super
build...
Soaker brand. It wasn't even like a knockoff.
Yes, I had a legit Super Soaker too. It was worth every penny. Build digital platform. Build compelling digital capabilities, including the recent relaunch of GameStop.com, to reach customers more broadly across the omni-channel platform and give them the full spectrum of content and access to products they desire. You guys need to work on that a little harder. Your new site sucks balls. Transform vendor partnerships. Transform our vendor and partner relationships to unlock high-margin revenue streams and optimize the lifetime value of every customer. So there. That's their pillar.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This gun? I said bullets were cheap, but not that cheap. Every bullet I fire cost me $1. I have 15,000 ammo right now.
Well,
I don't know what to think about this.
I mean, late game where every gun sells for 10 grand, probably not bad, but.
I mean, let's see what the damage is, I guess.
But Ari and I talked a good bit about GameStop last time, so I don't really feel like going into it again. Suffice to say that I hope they don't go out of business, because I think the more retailers open to the consumer, the better off we are as consumers. That said, I am not optimistic in their ability to pull off the sort of revenue streams that would appease shareholders by turning themselves into a nebulous gaming cultural hub, which I don't think they can accomplish anyways. So, hope for the best, expect the worst. Right, this is a bit of fucking news. Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 for Switch coming west on September 27th. That's 10 days. Square Enix will launch the Switch versions of Dragon Quest 2, Luminaries of the Legendary Line, and Dragon Quest 3, The Seas of Salvation on the Nintendo eShop in the West. Day and date with their Japanese release on September 27th for $5, $6.50, and $12.50, respectively. I don't know why these games cost different amounts. Greg, you've played them all. Is there, like, that much of a value difference between them, or is this just Nintendo being goofy?
What's the value again? I'm sorry. I was testing my games out.
$5, $6.50, and $12.50 for Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3, respectively.
Yeah, $12.50. I would say, like, 5, and 10 would probably be better or something.
Okay, so
I know they definitely get better as they go along. I mean, one is ultra plain. 2, you actually have party members. 3, you have like a job system.
Ah, okay.
If anybody's a siren, you can do a ground pound on these things and get the loot.
Yeah, that's
you're
what
supposed, You're supposed to get those stacks to do the ground pound and get the loot.
You can't do that if you're not a siren?
Oh, I guess you could. Let's see. Now you can do it. Just ground pounding.
Okay, I was gonna.
What do you ground pound?
When you're in the air, press circle. Watch me. Do 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 do.
Well, now I'm like knocked off the ledge, so
Oh.
can't watch you do shit.
Well then, don't watch me.
I won't.
You're goddamn
this,
right.
This gun that looks like the Super Soaker is really good.
I like
the
that you.
one when you hit enemies with it, it does dollar bills by the damage. You know?
Oh god. I like that you don't level out of guns as quickly. It makes finding legendaries much more fun. Knowing that you'll be able to hang on to your gun for a few levels is... I appreciate it. It's one of the main things that made me like Borderlands 1 a lot more than 2. A physical collection including all 3 titles is also due for Switch in Asia with English, Chinese, and Korean subtitles in October.
Oh, they're not releasing it physically in America?
I haven't heard anything about that. I'm not, like... I can't endorse buying it from Play Asia. There's one important thing to keep in mind. English subtitles does not mean English menus. Does not mean that the game text you need to play will be in English. So, just something to be aware of. You might understand what the characters are saying to you, but you might not understand what the battle commands are, or the items, or any of that, so...
Which with games this old is less of an issue.
I mean, yeah, there's only so many,
especially
but...
Dragon Quest 1.
But still, I'm not gonna pay money for a physical copy of a game I can't understand.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm probably not gonna buy these at all. I like Dragon Quest, but these are probably too primitive for me. I like Dragon Quest 8 is when it started to get good, in my opinion. When you can see your characters actually doing shit. Because otherwise, when it's all, you know, first person and nothing barely animates, it's a little antiquated for me. I'm not in a rush to go back to that type of game. So, but hey, it's an option, and I'm going to be super optimistic here and hope that maybe they'll just put all the Dragon Quest games on the Switch, and maybe we'll get Dragon Quest 8, the 3DS port, put on the Switch. That is a goddamn day one buy. So, boy can dream, boy can hope. Bandai Namco trademarks Mr. Driller Encore, Klonoa Encore, and other Encore titles in Japan. So, the full list of Encore title trademarks includes Genpai Torna Den Encore, Klonoa Encore, Mr. Driller Encore, Splatterhouse Encore, Wagyan Land Encore.
What's that mean? Is it just remakes or...?
Encore is the subtitle. Bandai Namco has given 2 recent remasters, so it's, I guess, remasters of these games. Katamari Damacy remaster.
I played Mr. Drillers, nothing but Noah. That's a few games in that series. I've beaten that one.
So I guess they are remastering these for what that's worth. And the final bit of news we have for this week is actually somewhat relevant to what we are doing here. Oh, I clicked my mouse wrong and now it's all low DPI. Okay. Borderlands 3 PC players report losing their save data. Oh, bite me, Skag. Wait, no, that's a problem.
Oh, I'm out of ammo.
What happens?
Oh yeah, Ari.
Yep.
Let's get those dueling trophies. I demand satisfaction.
Oh god, you kids. Don't do it now, he's got a new legendary gun. He just wants to show that off.
Oh, you can kill me first sometime. I'm just gonna stand here.
Some Borderlands 3 players are reporting losing all their progress on PC as a result of corrupt save files. Many users seem to believe the issue lies in the cloud. Multiple players on Twitter have reported problems after activating cloud saves that then either wipe progress completely or reset to an earlier save point. One fan tweeted, Gearbox and Epic Games asking, I lost 7 hours of work from Borderlands 3. Okay, it's not work, it's play.
Did you get a trophy?
Yep.
Alright. I demand satisfaction.
Oh, Jesus. Because something went wrong with the cloud save that Epic has. Is there a way to revert it back so I didn't lose all that time and gear I got? Someone else said, yeah, Borderlands 3 deleted my save. Looks like I'll have to start over. I'm guessing this is cloud related. PSA, do not turn on cloud saves.
Let's see how fast these racks get you.
Others have reported losing progress even when saving locally. Twitch streamer Alexa also tweeted, hey, Epic Games, logged on today and I was asked if I wanted to save on a cloud or a physical device, and I chose physical device. I logged in and was not at the same level I was last night. Is there a solution to this? Many are impacted. A 2K representative responded to IGN's request for comment. This is from IGN UK, by the way. We understand just how frustrating this situation is for those who have been affected, so we're working with our partners at Epic to monitor the situation and ensure the issue gets fully resolved, the representative said. We're listening closely to our community and players, and will continue to do all we can to ensure the best experience possible for everyone. Hey, here's an idea for the best experience possible for everyone. Don't buy the fucking game on Epic Game Store. There. Problem 1 solved. Console master race. At least we're not dealing with this shit.
Yeah, just black screens of non-loaded.
Well, you're the one who had that problem.
Nobody else had that problem?
I didn't. Although I did have Claptrap loading on my screen for a while.
Because sometimes I'll open the menu and be like, come on, right?
Oh yeah, when you're playing co-op, the in-game menus are so fucking terrible and sluggish. I leveled up like 7 times playing with you earlier, Greg, and I didn't spend any ability points because of how laggy my skill menu was. So I'm not saying the console port is perfect, but at least we haven't lost any saves, right? What are you whining about, Wangles?
Stuck. I only got my car stuck.
Oh, I'm running the wrong goddamn way. That'll teach you to follow me, Ari.
I don't know where we're
You
going.
know better. You know better. How many times have you been following me? I was running the wrong way and just had to turn around.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm still getting experience.
Right, yeah. Just let Greg kill everything. We'll just follow him around.
Where the fuck is our
And
end?
these 4 fire racks are just fucking godly. I love them.
Oh wow, this is all the way over there.
Yeah, I'm waiting for somebody to go over there so I can just warp to your view.
How am I running? I should just warp to a vehicle. Hey, here's a vehicle. Oh. Rebecca. How did you manage this? This is like skill.
I was hitting Ari.
Okay, I got it out. Thanks for the car, sucker. Hey, don't transport into my car.
Probably shouldn't.
Can't be a worse driver than you.
I was hitting Ari with my car.
Is that supposed to be an argument for your driving skills, or...?
He just happened to run under that tower as I was chasing him.
Oh, can I actually get there from here?
Probably.
Yeah, okay, that's around. And that is the last bit of news we have. Instead of actually napping like I...
not mention Room Factory 4.
Oh, what about it? So they're remastering Room Factory? Okay. I still haven't seen it.
You're biased, your hate on farming games.
I despise anything that's not as good as Stardew Valley.
I was pleasantly surprised with Story of Seasons. First of all, that's a fucking handheld game, right? Let's acknowledge this. Second of all, it's got stuff that Stardew Valley does not, and I did not see that coming.
What system is it on?
3DS.
Oh. When did that come out?
Right, 2016, 2017, something like that.
Ow.
These are, Story of Seasons. These are the proper Harvest Moon guys. Not the, we can't use our name anymore, but we're going to keep on putting out subpar Harvest Moon game guys.
No, it is what it is.
Bullshit is what it is.
But instead of napping when I was supposed to, I made a list, just for shits and giggles, of loosely what I would consider every game of the year from 1995 to present day. Yeah. This is what I do in my free time. I mean, it was either that, sleep so I could do this podcast properly, or work. And work. We all knew that wasn't going to happen, so list it is. So, I'll go down it and I'll admit...
What wins 2017 is my first question.
Nier Automata.
Really?
Yep.
Not Doom, huh? Not Stardew Valley?
No, Stardew Valley was 2016.
Was it?
And so was Doom, I think.
Okay, what wins 2016?
Stardew Valley. It was by far my favorite game to play that year. And this is what it is. It's a subjective goatee. I'm not sitting here like, well, this game has more artistic merit than the other one. It's just the game that I found the most unique and enjoyable. Bonus points if I would still want to go back and play it today. So, starting at 1995, and I'll admit up front, I do not have any picks for 2002, 2003. I was looking at all the games that came out those years, and I was like, I don't really think any of these are all that fucking great.
They're, like, I'm obviously not looking at anything, right? Just since you brought this up. Unplanned. Unscripted. There's gotta be a Resident Evil remake on the GameCube. Somewhere around those years that is worthy.
Yeah, Metroid Prime was one of those years, but I never played it.
Prime,
so
there you go.
So I can't rate. So I can't declare it GOATY. These only count games that I have beaten.
I mean,
so
I guess fair.
And there were some tough choices. Like '98 is a fucking brutal year, but I just leaned into subjectivity for this.
That Resident Evil 2 year.
I mean, this year, I don't know what it would be. I'm leaning towards Fire Emblem, but I haven't played Resident Evil 2 yet, and I really want to do that, so... We also have, The Outer Worlds coming out, which may or may not. Bloodstained, yeah, I think I definitely prefer Fire Emblem to Bloodstained, so... I can rule out Bloodstained so far. But anyways, let me go through this. 95, Chrono Trigger. 96, Diablo. 97, come on, this one's fucking easy. Final Fantasy VII. 98, Baldur's Gate. 99, Planescape Torment. 2000, Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Amn. 2001, Halo Combat Evolved. Yes, I actually enjoyed that game more than anything else that year. And that was kind of a tough one. I made it easier on myself by excluding expansions like Lord of Destruction and Throne of Baal. I already said 2002, 2003, I don't have rated. Like, Knights of the Round and Metroid Prime, if I just had to go by reputation. But since I haven't played them, I haven't beaten them, I should say. I'm not officially going to rate anything. What, Rebecca?
It's the Knights of the Round.
Oh, Knights of the Round, one more thing. Must be thinking
Knights of the Round is a video game, but...
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
2004... No, it's not. 2004, Rome Total War. 2005, Dragon Quest VIII. I'm giving myself a little bit of leeway with that because Dragon Quest VIII technically came out in 2004 in Japan, but not until 2005 in North America, so I'm going to count it as a 2005 game, so I actually have an easier time with things. 2006, Gears of War. 2007, Bioshock. 2008, Fallout 3. 2009, Dragon Age Origins. 2010, Fallout New Vegas. 2011, Elder Scrolls Skyrim. 2012, Dragon's Dogma. 2013, Saints Row 4. 2014, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. 2015, The Witcher 3. 2016, Stardew Valley. 2017, Nier Automata. 2018, Dragon Quest XI. So there's my tentative list of GOTYs going back to 95. And some years were fucking rough. Like
some of those years were dominated by other games that I assume you just never played.
Maybe. I mean, I don't give a shit about Nintendo games,
Breath
so.
of the Wild and
I don't care about Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, you never played them, so.
Yeah. I doubt it would make my GOTY anyways. And yeah, all the Nintendo 64 games. I played Mario 64, but it was fine. It's not. Wouldn't make my fucking GOTY anyways. Even with an honest appraisal of it. Some years were like kind of rough. Like choosing between Fallout 2 and Baldur's Gate was. And I know there's more iconic games that came out that year, like StarCraft, but I just don't enjoy it as much as the other two. So I'm leaning into subjectivity. And then, you know, some years they had Mass Effect 2, and I just liked the other games better. Even if the consensus is like, wow, you can't pick this game. Red Dead was clearly the game that year. Yeah, I don't really care to go back to play Red Dead.
Boy, Red Dead had some good moments.
It did have some good moments, but it also had some pretty fucking tedious-ass gameplay. At least they had checkpoints in Red Dead. Which made it far fucking better than Grand Theft Auto 4. Head to the ship in the... Okay. Yeah, this part.
I don't know if you get a nav shift or something.
Yeah.
Oh, afterwards.
I think Rebecca agreed with me on some of these, like Diablo... probably Baldur's Gate 2. I don't know if you agreed with me on Halo. I think you might have diverged.
I can't remember what else came out.
Oh, well, 2001 was a rough year because Halo Combat Evolved and Final Fantasy X came out in the same year. And, I mean, Final Fantasy X might be the best Final Fantasy game, objectively speaking. But I don't know. Halo was just fucking great back in the day.
You gotta get that biofuel truck.
Yeah, no, I was hoping there'd be like an ammo thing around here because I don't have enough ammo.
No, there's not. You gotta travel.
Well, you
somewhere.
don't really need ammo for this part. You just drive over some things. There's some ammo over here.
But look at all those genres. That's some fucking diverse shit right there.
There's one over there.
Problems, Ari?
No. I gotta log off early, guys.
Okay.
Alright.
Do you want to get Rebecca to Sanctuary real quick, Greg?
Yeah, we should do that at least.
Okay.
Alright,
Let's make
guys.
that
I'll
go.
see you next week.
Alright. See you, Ari.
See ya.
Yeah, talk to you in Discord.
Yep. And surprisingly, that list of goatees makes Square Enix the most decorated developer on my list, which is... And to be fair, they didn't develop some of those games, they just published them. Like Nier Automata, so...
Don't kill things that Rebecca went over.
Alright.
Oh, is that what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah. Murdering people with your tire parts.
With your tire. Scooter was here, he'd work in lady parts.
Yeah, Ellie's not a good replacement for Scooter. She can't harness that rambunctious redneck energy like Scooter could.
There's nothing on the map to run over.
Hey, go to where the markers are. Stuff like that.
This thing also handles really shittily.
Oh, so before we played Borderlands 3 earlier in the day, I was going to invite Rebecca to come play with us. I mean, I did. And I went to her room, because it was early in the morning. I thought she'd be asleep or fucking around on her phone. You know what that fucking woman was doing?
In houses.
She was playing Conan Exiles. And apparently she did that for 8 hours today. What'd you get done on Conan Exiles?
I built a house. Killed a dragon.
So do you like Conan Exiles, woman?
Yeah.
Did you like running over to that car?
Didn't count it for the biofuel, but you keep shooting all the animals, so...
I ain't shooting nothing. You out your mind.
You were killing fucking skags when I fucking ran up the hill.
You weren't anywhere near me at the time. What am I supposed to do? Let them eat me?
You're supposed to not even be near them.
You're not supposed to be near... no, actually, you're supposed to be running them over.
They're not spawning us, or you're just killing them.
Well, drive further around. Alright, anyone else have any gaming-related news, information, things to share, random shit to say?
I do not like that they have a real person's face for Lilith.
Yeah, that's kind of off-putting. Well, they did that for.
Hey, drive back to the place where the ship is. I'm gonna have this astronaut ship in like 4 seconds. This is called gaming the system.
They did that shit in the first Borderlands, where they use a realistic face for whatever her name was.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember
But
where that this place is. Oh, no,
Here, I'm gonna run to it. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, Lilith looks weird in the real person-ish animation. Like, she doesn't look like Lilith. She looks more masculine and older than her in-game model. I guess there's only so much you can do. Like, everything else got a graphical improvement, but the character models still look like ass, so what are you gonna do? Alright, but that'll do it for episode 158 of 3G Play and Chat. We'll probably be on more Borderlands for the foreseeable future.
We'll be on the next planet next time, I'm sure.
Yes, Prometheus? Is that which one it is?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so until next time, see you guys later.
Bye.
Yeah.
Wait,
Rebecca, that's your cue to end it.
How do you end it, though?
Hit the share button.
And this is how you end the stream.
Doesn't have the option to end.
Again, so you go to the cutscene.
It's blocked anyway. Yeah, but how do you fucking end this? I'm in the share thing? Yeah, come in here, because there's not a thing that says end broadcast. There's broadcast settings. Do I click on that? Oh yeah.